Bucs Report.
Hang on,
Buc
you're not
Wild.
ready. Now you're live.
How's it going, guys? This is another edition of Buc Wild from the Buc Report. And with us, we have Miss Teresa Baxter. Hello, Teresa.
Hey.
And we have the man, Slick, joining us. He's pulling double duty tonight after his other show. So thanks for joining us.
Much appreciated, man. This is the show that kind of got me started in it all. I mean, it was Teresa and Matt and bringing me on as a guest, and then just kind of like bringing me in, and then Matt left, and then I filled in for Matt for a little bit, and then Teresa unfortunately got ill, and then just kind of went with it, and it's kind of been this thing for me. It's kind of been a bit of a journey, so it's kind of fun.
It's fun. It is very fun, and it's good to talk to you guys about Buccaneer football. People that I don't see on a regular basis. So
I added a little something here, a little spice. I know there's usually a little meow at the end of this. So I put hit the like, strip the subscribe, and sack that comment button and 3 times on Sunday. So guys, if you're watching us, please strip that subscribe button and hit that like button and sack the shit out that comment button and let us have it, because we just want to hear what you want to say, because that's what Buc Wild's all about. Buc Wild is get wild with Buccaneers fans. We're going to talk about a little few things. That's what we're about.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Shaq Mason reshuffles his contract. He goes from a $6.5 million deal that he was traded to our Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then changes it to I believe he's got a 1.12 salary this year, and he has the rest of a 4.3 as a bonus. So we ended saving 1.3 on the salary cap. We're probably roughly about $5 million on the cap. Do you guys, and I'm going to go around the clock on this, do you guys feel that's we're going to make a roster move, or do you think let's keep that in our back pocket and see what happens?
I think a lot of people are going to first start to assume that they're clearing money for Gronk's return, which
I agree.
Could be possible, could be for offensive line help later on in the season, or who knows what. But I'm happy to have unselfish players on our team. That's something that we haven't had in the past, and I think that's a great thing.
Well, he probably learned it from Brady at the Patriots,
Exactly, setting the example.
There's a lot of speculation out online about them freeing this money up for Gronk, absolutely. But I think you might be on something with the, have money available for O-line help.
Yeah. I think, honestly, this is what I've been saying, is I think depending on how we come out of the first 4 games, because that's a murderer's row of opponents, I think that's going to determine whether Gronk comes back. Because if we're at 1-3 after 4 games, I think they're going to want to bring back Brady's security blanket. So who knows?
Could be.
Sorry, go ahead.
Could be another layer of security for him.
It's true, but would Gronk want to come back and get himself punished for another season? It's clearly obvious that he wanted to get out of playing football because he got beat up last year. And if you look at his injury history, it's really, really bad. That guy has taken some licks in his time. Spinal injuries, leg injuries, elbow injuries, shoulder injuries. The list is like it's like having a receipt at Walmart, and we don't have Walmart here, so I can only imagine it. So for me, I like the O-line depth idea. I think just keep money, keep it in your back pocket, and if you need to use it, use it. If you don't need to use it, don't spend it. Because what happens if you go, Gronk, please come back, and you somehow persuade him to come back, and then you have O-line issues and you don't have tight end issues?
I think we're going to be okay with Cameron Brate, personally.
I mean, I was a bit skeptical to begin with, only because I wouldn't say he's unproven. He's never done a full season on his own. And then we get the appointment of Kyle Rudolph, who I was really happy with, because he was a 4-time captain with the Minnesota Vikings. He's also a man of the year. So he is a stand-up guy as all respects as a football player comes. That we got ourselves a cat there that can be a communicative guy. We got a guy who can lead by example. He's being a bit of an all-rounder as a tight end, he's not a great blocker. He's like a poor man's Gronk is the nicest way you could put it. I mean, that's a really harsh way of saying it, but he can block. He can receive the football. He just doesn't do it as well as.
Sure.
And we're now blessed. We drafted 2 guys. There's no rush to kind of push them into development. And the biggest thing for me, I've always said was, you got to remember, one's a 4th-round pick and one's a 6th-round pick. There's a reason why they were picked in those rounds. Probably because they're better blockers than they are receivers.
Yeah.
Then again, Brady was a 6th-round pick.
True, but how many times tell me how many 6th-round picks hit and do what Tom Brady did?
Not a lot, probably.
Not often.
Exactly. And that's my point. It's like, sometimes you come up money. Sometimes you do that. And that's why I find sometimes when people quibble over picks, like, oh, this guy's a 6th-round pick, it doesn't mean anything. Most 6th-round picks don't make the roster. They're usually on the practice squad.
Right.
So to us to have, I believe, most of our picks are on active roster. I do believe we may have one on the practice squad right now. I'm not too sure who that is off the top of my head, but we do have somebody. But most of our picks are on the active roster. So that says something about the coach's belief in this pick unit that they went with.
Yeah, their drafting has gotten better over the years.
I mean, we've drafted well. I did a thing where I used to read into what people said, like, oh, Jason Light's really bad at drafting. Jason Light's really bad at drafting. So one day I just went, you know what? Who's a successful team? And at the time it was the Seattle Seahawks. So I pulled up the Seattle Seahawks history from the moment, I think, the year they won the Super Bowl and onwards. They haven't really drafted that many players in significance. And they've had the same front office in-house with the same head coach, and they have not been able to do what they did with that unit, like the 2000, I believe it was 2012, 2011, 2013. They picked really well, and then they kind of went this blunder of picks that they just didn't do really well with at all. Mm-hmm. So I think Jason Light, if you look at his stats from a hit or a miss, if you look at the picks, he picked Vernon Hargreaves III.
Right.
Some people liked it, some people didn't. He was considered to be, at the time, by not just by him, Jason Light himself, but by guys who were scouting, media, whatever you want to call it, draft analysts, as being the 2nd best corner over Jalen Ramsey. And he didn't become that. Can you blame the Buccaneers for whiffing on a guy that everyone was touting as great?
No.
Same with O.J. Howard. O.J. Howard, everyone had him. This guy is going to be elite. O.J. Howard is now on his 3rd team.
Yeah.
And he had to sign a cheap free agent deal. And I wouldn't say, but he didn't burn any money, but a successful team in the NFL franchises in the Buffalo Bills burnt $3 million just to get rid of him.
Yeah.
That says a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I wasn't sad to see him go at all. But going back to this Gronk thing, I would be with you, inclined to go with you. They're going to hold the money for the O-line, except Tom and Gronk are now doing this commercial or this armchair quarterback thing.
Yeah.
And they're both actively talking about this stuff. So
yeah,
when we first got Gronk, how good was Gronk in the first 6 weeks? Exactly. So what kind of Gronk are we going to get mid-season, week 4, week 5, week 6? It's not going to be the same thing. We're not going to get – when we got Gronk in the 2nd season, you could see it. We were like, oh, wow, this guy is almost the Gronk of old. I honestly, I would put money down. I'd mortgage my house and say, if Gronk was healthy the entire season, he would be the leading tight end in touchdowns and yards. I'd put money on it.
Yeah. I agree with that.
He got injured. It's been a bit of an MO on him in the past, but at the same time, what he can do. But are you going to get that Gronk, or are you going to get a Gronk who's been chilling on the shore with his lovely girlfriend, his fiance, drinking beers and having a good time, which is what he's about. That's what Gronk's about. And I don't hold it against him. He's in retirement. Why not?
Yeah,
The biggest thing I've
absolutely.
heard is a certain wide receiver, and I hate talking about New England players because I don't want to talk about them because New England players, New England fans join our fan base, and they think they know football better than we do, and they haven't suffered like we have. They really don't know what it's like.
They went through their times.
But if you're my age, they probably haven't.
Yeah, your age, they haven't. But
Yeah.
I remember before they had that.
Okay, so would you, if you were saying the target audience for the NFL would be 30?
30s.
30s? My age, yeah?
Yeah.
Most of those don't know what pain is.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't know what pain is or watching a team lose out every season. So,
well, it's also gotten to the point to where, people follow players now because of that, because they want.
I disagree, and I've got a great comment on this, but let me finish your thought because I got a great comeback on that.
Go for it.
No, you go for it.
Oh, okay. No, it's this age, in that 20 to 30 range, they are looking for instant gratification. Where Teresa and I, who are in our later years, we've seen the Bucs go through the hard times. We've stuck by them, and I just don't think that the kids nowadays are there for that.
They don't have patience.
Absolutely, that's the nail. But when someone turns around to me and says, "Oh, I'm a fan of Tom Brady," this is the biggest thing that people turn around to me and say. And I'm gonna call bullshit on this, because Tom Brady wasn't a big guy coming out of. There's a reason he was drafted in the 6th round.
Yeah,
he wasn't a big name. So when you turn around to me and say, "Oh, I'm a big Tom Brady fan," no, you're a big Tom Brady fan when he was winning. That's fine. That's fine. But just admit it. If you're a Michigan fan and you're a Tom Brady fan and you followed him all the way to New England, great, fantastic. You predicted the future. You did good. Right. You are what we call in England Mystic Meg.
Okay.
She was this stupid guy. This old lady that we'd bring out for our lottery picks. And she'd sit there going, "Oh, a person with blonde hair, their birthday aligns with May, and then that will be the person who wins all the millions and millions of pounds." Look, it's not going to happen. And I see what you mean about that, by people becoming more fans of a player. But it's really difficult when your team's constantly drafting from different teams and different college universes. It doesn't really work to turn around and say it. I think people like to turn around and take credit for "Oh yeah, I've always been with that guy."
Right.
Like, you watch if Jameis Winston gets hot with the Saints. I hope he never does. But he's got talent. That's never been a discussion. He's got talent. It's been a case if he could put it together.
He does have talent. He doesn't know how to corral that talent.
Yeah.
And I think the best team for him to do that is unfortunately with the Saints. But you're going to get people who go, "Oh, if he were to get big and he were to get successful, he does get a little bit of momentum going as a football player, because right now he's respected enough, not truly respected in the sense of being seen as a legend. He's no Josh Allen, he's no Joe Burrow of the game." But if he got into that argument, you're going to get a lot of people turn around. "I was with him from the get-go."
Yep.
And I would call bullshit on that, because 9 times out of those, unless you live in a state where your team either is terrible or you don't have a team, like an Alabama, you probably don't. You probably already have a football team that you follow in the pros. Like, one of the things I always get asked is, "Steve, if the NFL decided to bring an expansion team to London, what would that mean for you?" I'm like, "Nothing. They're probably a team I keep an eye on. I'd care about when they play against nobody but my Bucs.
Right.
I'd root for them if they're playing against anybody but my Bucs.
Yeah.
They're playing against my Bucs. I hope they get the shit kicked out of them." And they went, "Oh, because everyone's already got a team over here. We've already picked our units." So, when I go, I'm going to go to the Jags versus Denver game in London, because getting those Munich tickets is nigh on impossible. I'm going to do a few videos of just to showcase, because my biggest thing about my show on Across the Buc Pond is to kind of showcase what us football fans are across the pond. I really love that the guy I brought in today, in James, really talked really in depth about his Dallas Cowboys. And to be honest, he's probably the most undiluted Dallas Cowboys fan I've ever spoken to, because he was like, "Do you think you're going to win tomorrow?" And he went, "Probably not."
Yeah, realistic.
But it's refreshing, because I said, but you've got to understand, there's a lot of Dallas Cowboys fans out there. We're going to win this year. We're going to win it that. And he's like, "Yeah, I want to think. We all dream of it." And he's like, "We all dream of that, but I just think we're not ready yet." And I was like, "That's a very honest account."
I can agree with him about that. Yeah.
I mean, you could have argued it about us at certain points in time in our career. I mean, were we ready to win the Super Bowl when we first got Tom Brady? I don't know. I thought we were more ready to win it last year than we were the year before.
I didn't think it was going to happen. Not
the first year. No. My actual agreement was we'd go 11. We'd win 11 games. Mm-hmm. We'd win a playoff game, and we'd probably lose. That was my prediction beginning of the season. And in the second season, I was like, "That's when we'll take off. That's when we'll go 13-4, and we'll go all the way." Because it takes time to all this stuff to marinate. It takes time for all this thing to build. So we've got a couple of comments here. I do apologize. I just want to go through a couple of these people, because I don't want them to get lost in it. The worst thing you can do is you comment and then no one replies to you, or no one takes notice of you. So we've got Christian Cole, who says, "Hey guys and gal." Hey, Chris Cole's on every show. He just pops up all the time. He's like a Jack in a Box or a Chris in a Box.
Yeah, there you go.
And is Pamela White a relative of yours?
Mine, yeah. She's my sister.
Your sister.
Hi, Pamela.
Is she as glamorous as you are?
Huh?
Is she as glamorous as you are?
I don't consider myself glamorous.
Well, I'm saying you're glamorous. Is she as glamorous as you?
Sure.
Sure.
We'll go with that.
I mean, we've probably been talking a little bit. He says 40s, so I don't know who he's talking about in the 40s. So I'd have to try.
Because we were saying the age range.
Oh yeah. I get you. Yeah. So when we're saying like the ideal Bucs fan, yeah, I'd say it's more like mid 30s. I'd say 35, similar to my age.
Yeah.
And then your lovely sister says, "I am a fan of the team." She's a Bucs fan as well?
Oh yeah.
So I thought she was supporting you most of the time.
No, it's funny because we all
tell the story through. Tell us the story.
Pam actually sat out in line during the first playoff game to get tickets, and she had a great spot as like 15th, and so we went up and relieved her after a while, because I mean, you're outside the stadium, it was cold for Tampa, and they had this fire going, it was great. And then we got our tickets, and we were golden, we were happy. But yeah, she sat out there for about a day and a half, 2 days, something.
Was that the last season or the season before?
That was the first time we ever went to a playoff. That was back in the 70s or 80s.
It's Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you didn't allude to that, so I just assumed it was like last year.
No. They
don't
do that.
You wouldn't do that now? I'm going to ask Pam, would you do that again? If the Buccaneers get to a home playoff, would you line up like that again?
By the way, she lives in Iowa.
The answer to that has just been answered. I wasted my breath.
Well, she could get somebody out there though with some lawnmowers and take out some of that corn and go ahead and build a stadium.
Christian Cole joins us again with New England are on a Mac Jones train right now. To be honest, I don't see that much about him. I think he's okay. There's a lot yet to be seen out of Mac Jones, in my opinion. Yeah. I don't think he's bad. I really don't. I think what they got out of him was good value, but there's more to be seen. And I think we're going to see more guys take a bigger step than Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones took a great step to begin with, and he's going to stand still now. And everyone else.
Everybody's got film on him now.
Exactly.
I mean, there's film on everyone, but at the same time, Mac Jones plays a certain way, I think, personally.
Yep.
No, not to close. All right, this is when I really wish I get these things when they go at the time. And I do apologize because I do believe my co-hosts don't get to see all these. Is that correct?
No, I can see them. I can't do anything with them.
Right, okay.
I think that is close to. I think that is in response to your question about is she fabulous?
Yes, I see now because I can see all the others. Is like, yes, I would if I was in Tampa. Okay, I get that. Okay, that's cool. Pamela, I'd line up with you two because if I could, I would. But it's probably not going to happen. My wife's probably not going to let me. She'll be like, "You got babies to look after."
Tell you need to come to Atlanta for the tailgate. You get your butt up 75 and come to the tailgate. We'll all meet there.
Oh, I like that idea, but unfortunately, I think my wife wants to go to Orlando.
Hell of a tailgate.
Well, this year it's right after Christmas though, so I don't think
Wow.
so. I don't know
We are actually coming to America in 2024.
Are you?
Yeah, it'll be our decade anniversary, and it'd be a decade since we were last in America, so it'll be kind of cool. And the idea is to kind of me to partake a game on my own and just kind of like embed myself in like the whole tailgate thing, and just kind of socialize with everyone. And the second game kind of like do with the family.
Yeah.
But the last I looked at my son and daughter, yeah, I don't think they can handle a full game. It's great when they can go off and color and play and do and
the heat too.
Yeah, YouTube and all that kind of stuff. I think kind of making them watch an NFL football game will probably kill them.
Yeah, I wouldn't take them until they started watching the football game with you at the house.
I mean, they watch, but they just don't. They're not attentive to it, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they could be watching it and all of a sudden squirrel.
Some on YouTube is new to us. So we got a little bit of news about numbers. I mean, I don't know if everyone knows about numbers. So Julio Jones has finally picked himself a number. He's changed it. Yeah, here we go. Have you got the? You got. I can see. Is that a 6 on it?
Nah, just the name.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
I wish I could have one of them. I tell you what, the hardest thing to get off in England. I got Brady on right now.
Nice.
The hardest thing to get hold of in the UK is creamsicle stuff. Really difficult.
Here too. You really have to seek it out.
No caps, no hats, no nothing. Absolutely really difficult.
They have a small assortment at the stadium, but that's pretty much all you see.
And this is one of the things that we talk about creamsicle and we talk about our owners. Is there a reason why a couple of guys that we've spoken about as Bucs fans that haven't really gone into the Ring of Honor over, say, and I mean, don't mean to be harsh because I like the guy and I'm a huge fan of his, in Bruce Arians, who gets to walk in first year and he walks straight into the Ring of Honor, and there are
I think a lot of people. I think the reason that they have, not put any legends in lately is because the fan base, like a James Wilder, there's going to be a lot.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean,
not know who he is.
Yeah.
But could it be possible that it's from a different era? It's before the Glazers owned them, so it's kind of like, we want to distance ourselves. And it's a bit like the same when we talk about the unis.
That's another thing.
Are they trying to distance themselves from that creamsicle era? And we're like, we are red and pure. Red and pure is the Glazer era. We don't want that.
I think that has a lot to do with it. I think they are trying to distance themselves from the past records of, back then. But I think that next year that we're supposed to start wearing creamsicle again. I think they will start, doing something like, Hardy Nickerson or,
I'd love to see Hardy. I'd love to see Hardy. And I know, Hardy. Speaking to him myself, I know that he wants it too.
Yeah.
He feels so underrated. I watched a question with him and they asked him and said, why aren't you in the Ring of Honor? And he went, I honestly don't know. And I'm like, wow. When someone says that, like that means he knows his worth, and he's like,
Well, I can tell you, back in the day, no free agents wanted to come to the Buccaneers. No one wanted to play for us. Hardy Nickerson, when he was, a free agent leaving the Steelers, that was the turning point for the Buccaneers. Is when Hardy Nickerson came in, he changed, the culture that was inside the locker room. Tony Dungy, same thing. But Hardy was one of our biggest pickups.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I completely agree. And one of the things when I was very, very lucky and I got to chat with him. He did a load of football webinars about the cover two defense. So he's a big cover two advocate. That's what he coaches himself. So I got to spend a little time like picking his brain and chatting to him. And bless him, he sent me a signed photo and a signed creamsicle jersey, which is now on the wall somewhere. So I've got nothing but respect. But the only thing I found really odd about Hardy, just kind of getting to know him, was he's so soft spoken and gentlemanly like. And then I got the look. I got the blind look to chat to James Canada, who was drafted in the same year that Hardy was there, and he was telling me a story how his rookie hazing came from Hardy, who apparently I don't know. I'm going to try and use the right words because there are certain words that we use that you don't use. So, do you have sallow tape?
What's that?
Tape. I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. What's the tape you use to like bind things together really hard?
Duct tape.
Duct tape.
Duct tape. They duct taped him. So Hardy duct taped him to one of the posts in the locker room because he thought he did something to his jersey or something like that. He said, "Rookie, you don't fuck with me," or something like that. And I was like, "Really? Hardy said that?" And he was like, yeah. And I was like, nah. Hardy's like the gentlest spoken person I've ever. And I've only known him because of the coaching aspect of everything, that he has this like gentle voice and he's not that kind of. And you forget how a ferocious force he was at the time, because he had that Nike advert with Dennis Hopper in as well, where, he was the dude at one point.
Yeah, he was. He was the man. Like I said, we had never had anybody like him on our team, and when he played for us, I mean, he was the premier player on the team. He was the Tom Brady. Everybody talked about him.
And that's great. I mean, that's great to see that you come in as a middle linebacker. I mean, I know he didn't break the mold of the middle linebacker when he was back in Pittsburgh, but he was always considered a good player. So he comes to Tampa, and that just goes to show that he comes to Tampa and starts to bring an attitude on that defense. Mm-hmm. And that defensive front starts to get better and better. They end up adding Derek Brooks. And they get that Warren Sapp, and now you get the cornerstones of that cover two defense. You need to have someone. You need to have someone that free tech that's going to harass the quarterback all the time. Mm-hmm. Then they bring in that weak. They bring in that weak backer who's able to go sideline to sideline. That kind of, I say Levante David, but it's actually Derek Brooks who invented the role, I suppose. But I remember watching this thing when they brought in, they're like, oh, what was they spoke to Warren Sapp, and they said, and I think it was Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp has his own show called Club Shay Shay. They brought on Sapp, and they said, what was it that the coach imparted on you? What did Coach Dungy impart on you? And he turned around to me, you're going to be Jack Lambert, and you're going to be Joe Green, and you're going to kick everyone's ass. And they were like, golly, like, you for real? You do know those two people you just mentioned, and that it kind of stuck in infancy, and here we are, like decades later, we're talking about how the Buccaneers have created a defense.
Yeah.
All because of what Coach Dungy took from Chuck Noll, added a little bit from Minnesota, and then perfected in Tampa with Monty Kiffin. And we're very lucky to have, even my team, we use Tampa. Tampa's are cool. And that's not my choice. I didn't make that choice, because I was told by my head coach, this is the defensive playbook. In my first year, I started to learn the defensive playbook, and that's what I coached out. I didn't have my own playbook. I was not allowed to, because I was first year defensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. And we have a Tampa call. We don't call it Tampa. We call it something else, but it is Tampa in essence. I can't remember what we call it. I don't know. We call it Tampa.
It's known as cover two.
Well, yeah, not necessarily, because you can do cover two about a million different ways. And this is what a lot of people disagree with, people argue with. When you look at a team doing cover two, they go, oh, two safeties going back. Not necessarily. You could have one safety, you could have one corner. You could have two safeties.
The only people that use cover two, though, are the people that don't want to give Tampa credit for it. Like the Saints would never say they're using Tampa two.
No, they never would.
They just say it's Tampa. They would just say it's cover two. But there's so many variations of cover two because all cover two is two people who are deep defenders. That's all it is. And that's what the inventive part about play calling is that you can decide who in your play call who are going to be the two back guys. So it could be your nickel and your dime. It could be someone else. As long as you have that speed, because they've got to be able to bail into coverage. The closer they are to the line of scrimmage, the faster they're going to be. That's why it's usually the safeties, because the safeties don't have to bail as hard.
True. Johnny Dean.
Here we go. The biggest difference between everyone else's cover two and
Tampa two.
And Tampa two is the base. True, but I'm talking about the coverage in essence. Like when I look at a coverage, Tampa two has a couple of rules about it. Like the drop of the middle linebacker is, as Cardi told me, it's to infinity and beyond. So it ends up becoming cover free when you need it to be, as long as your middle linebacker is athletic enough to make the play, which is why you need a fast, athletic middle linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Anyway, let's move on a little bit. So we got the injury report. See if I can find this for tomorrow's game. This is live as it happens. So we got Zion McCullum is out. And the best part for the Buccaneers is Michael Gallup is out. He is out. So that their leading slot receiver is done. To be honest, that's a blessing in my opinion. We lose a backup defensive back, and they lose their starting slot receiver. I like my odds on that. Russell Gage is questionable. Chris Godwin is questionable, which I personally let's talk a little bit about Chris Godwin here. What do you think is going to go on with Chris Godwin tomorrow? Do you think it's going to be a case that they just let him play a little bit, or do you think they're just going to it's done, just rest it for next week?
If I was the coach, I'd let him sit out first week. We have 16 games. Let him heal 100%. We've got Julio stepping up into the number 2. I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to have the weapons.
Yeah. All the wide receivers that we have, really, it's plug and play.
Mm-hmm.
I think it all comes down to Russell Gage. If Russell Gage can go more than Chris Godwin, then I think it's a foregone conclusion. And Johnny Dean said to me quite recently was that Chris Godwin said that he's not expecting to come back until about week 6. And I believe Todd Bowles said something more like week 4. I like that because it shows that Chris Godwin isn't crazy about stats, that he's not like stats, which we know wide receivers want to have their bread. They want to be, when you get paid that money and you're going into that second or third in his case, it'll be his second actual contract, because your drafted contract you don't really have much control of. But you go into that second contract and you can turn around and go 1,000-yard season, 1,000-yard season, 1,000-yard season, total of 20 touchdowns. You're going to get money. You turn around and go, well, I sat out that season because I was beat up a little bit. No team's going to care about that. That shows that how committed he is to the Buccaneers cause, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
If what they said is true.
I agree. Yeah, it'd be nice to have him, but let's let him sit, let him heal, let him be 100%.
Let him be 100%.
Yeah. The Bucs.
One thing that played last year. You're absolutely right. One thing that played us last year was that we ended up with really bad depth. I mean, our starting wide receivers were Brashard Perriman and Mike Evans. And I'm no slouch on Mike Evans. Mike Evans is number one. But you're asking a guy who was probably at the time probably 5th, maybe 4th for the depth chart, if he was week 1 or whatever. I know he wasn't week 1. We brought him in later on, but you see something like that. Now, what's going to happen? Oh, if Russell Gage can go, then it's Mike Evans, Julio Jones, Russell Gage. It's not a bad slate.
That's pretty awesome. That's the best receiving core the Bucs have ever had.
And then the next man up is what? Who?
It'll be Jalen Darden, and it will be Scotty Miller.
Okay, and Richard Perryman's in there somewhere.
Yes. Yeah,
And
Brashad Perryman.
Darden won't be doing kick returning tomorrow.
Who's doing that?
The new running back that we have, White, I think is his name.
Give me a second. I got it somewhere. Here we go. Jalen Darling will be doing punt return.
Right.
Rashad White will be doing kick return.
Hey, Johnny.
How you guys doing? Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, it's Rashad White. He got the starting role at the return guy.
Cool.
But punt return.
Yep.
Okay.
I like it. Jalen Darden. I mean, last year, he tried. And
We haven't had a punt returner, kick returner yet in the last 20 years that knew how to hit a lane. And Rashad White's first time out, bam, right in the lane, 30-yard gain. So that makes a big difference in field position.
I know. You remember that game against the Tennessee Titans in the preseason where Adam Humphries returned went all the way for a touchdown and it was called back because of a
That was a punt return. Yeah, I remember that.
That was
I was
heartbreaking.
so mad that it
Oh
got
my
called back.
God, we've never got one of them.
Michael Spurlock. John remembers that guy.
I do. Run, Michael, run.
Yep.
Yeah, the Bucs.
And the funny thing is, he didn't even hit the lane for that. That's like, I was going nuts at the first when he got the kickoff because I was going, "What are you doing? What are you doing in the lane?" And then he just had that space, man, and boom, took off.
Yeah, that's just something. A bit of weakness of the Buccaneers' their entire history is their
Entire history. Yeah.
Yep.
What I was trying to tell you about the Tampa 2 is it was a base formation with them. It was completely different than any other cover 2 that's ever been invented. That's why it was Tony Dungy's in them, because it's a base formation. He could run out of the 3-4 defense and it's still considered the Tampa 2. So,
Yeah. No, I don't disagree at all. I think you hit the nail on the head of what it is.
Yeah, and nobody else has ever been able to run it. Nobody else.
The Steelers tried it though.
No, they used a basic zone defense and tried to use the Tampa 2 in it, but you can go drop into a T3 or cover 3 or cover 4 or whatever you want to in that.
Lovey used it for a while as well, but it's become now one of those defenses that you should use as an ensemble rather than using it.
Well,
as
it's
a
usually
base.
used in preseason as a basic plan, and you see a lot of college teams using it now too. So. Yeah, but we still drop into it. We still do. We still drop into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a solid coverage because you're asking a team to run. If you've got good run D, it's a perfect coverage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm not saying they ran Tampa 2 in the Super Bowl, but they ran a variation of cover 2 with bracketing safeties.
Yeah.
It's just solid. Cover 2 is a really good defense until you can't defend the run. Once you defend the run, then it's a dead defense.
That's exactly why they were so successful with Warren Sapp and those guys up front, man. You could run it like that, and you could also, and they could run a 3-man front because of Warren Sapp. It takes a special team to be able to run it like they did with that base.
Absolutely.
And that's why I laugh at all these critics and people who say, "Oh, Rondé Barber shouldn't be in there because of the team he had around him." Well, you know what? Rondé Barber, his last play as a Buccaneer was an interception. So kiss my ass and get lost.
I was going to say the whole team wasn't there handing them the ball.
Yeah, and that was a completely different team. Yeah, you know.
Jeez.
Hey, he survived a few decades, and he's got a lot of stats that just point his way. Like I believe he's a part of a club. Is like 40 interceptions and 20 sacks, and no one's ever got that.
Well, he started the club at 20-20, and then it just kept growing because he just kept playing.
Exactly. So he created a club that no one touched. He is also part of a position that no one's. Well, no, I wouldn't say no one. He's part of a position that, let's face it, right now is screaming as one that is considered a starting position now. That nickel position wasn't considered a position. It was just like an ensemble position. That's your nickel package or your dime package. Now, a lot of teams, especially the college ranks and some of the pro ranks, they start off in nickel because 9 times out of 10, guess what? It's a passing league. So what's the point in having a stout linebacker there when you can have if you've got the guy like a Rondé Barber who can go and sniff out tackles, why have a linebacker?
The cornerback that was in the Bills game that got toasted. What's his name? Jamal. That's not
Ramsey.
Jamal. Jalen Ramsey. Thank you. Jalen Ramsey's considered an all-pro and rightfully so. But 60% of those snaps he took last week, what was it, Thursday night?
Thursday.
They were from the nickel position. Okay, so and you've never seen Rondé get burnt like that. Never.
No.
I mean, I'll give him one thing. There's one of them you could clearly see he slowed down on purpose. And that's one out of a lot. So I'm not saying that, like, I'm just giving him one.
Right.
You could see he slowed down on purpose. He was expecting some sort of, like, bracketing safety or some shit. But at the end of the day, the way I would play it, always expect nobody knows what they're doing until they know what they're doing.
Exactly.
That's my philosophy.
Yeah.
It's always been my philosophy. My philosophy on coaching is: do you expect them to do their job, and don't go like above and beyond or what have you, but keep going. It's better to keep it shallow than keep it deep.
Absolutely.
And you complete it deep, it's hard. That's a real hard.
It's hard to dive with shallow water, though.
True.
It's good
Bring
way
your
to get
boogie board and just slide on it.
So let's talk about this defensive backs group. We got Jamal Dean's going to start over Sean Murphy-Bunting. I know me and Johnny Dean spoke about this last Wednesday. How do you guys feel about it? Do you see that like as the right decision?
I think they're both about equal. I'm sure that was a pretty tough decision. We'll find out, after a couple of games, and it wouldn't surprise me if they did, rotate them.
Jamal, to me, has shown progression, constant progression all the way through his career. He hit that 3-year mark, just like Rondé says, you know what I mean? That 3-year mark, Rondé was almost kicked off the team, right? Mm-hmm. He hit that 3-year mark, and from what we're hearing from Todd Bowles, he's really, really got it together this year. He's not thinking anymore about what he's doing. He's just doing it, reacting. And that's what it takes. That's
Mm-hmm.
So, and Bunting has been up and down. He's been inconsistent quite a bit in his career. So I don't know if he's got it yet, but I think he will too, because he's got it. Teresa?
Is Teresa?
I'm sorry.
What do you think about it?
I was reading the comments. What was the subject? I'm sorry.
Jamal Dean.
Jamal Dean. Well, it pleases me in one hand because it shows that they've got depth there. They can go looking, who's playing well, who's not. Okay, you're in now. So that to me is a luxury that we haven't had.
Yeah. And I like Dean's stats too with the passes defense. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was him and was it Davis?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Were the lead to the two, both in the top 10 of passes defense last year, or was it the year before? Might have been the year before. But that's a nice stat. To me, that's a better stat than interceptions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you'd like them to convert more interceptions, but at the same time, is like if it's a batted down pass, it's end of discussion. But with a turnover, it's you kind of it's a full stop. But my biggest take on this is when I break down film, and I'm not saying like I like breaking down film on these guys all the time. When I look at a guy like Sean Murphy-Bunting, he spends so long looking at quarterback, the ball goes over his head. That's my biggest criticism of him as a ball player. Sometimes he gets into his backdrop, he gets into his drop, and then he's just staring, and he seems to forget that someone's just run by him, and then he's still kind of like that staggered, slow. You don't get that so much with Dean. Dean's a little bit more on the guy, focused on that. I always say to my guys, if you can find something between the belt buckle and below, just above the knee, that you can zero in, burn a fucking hole in it, and follow it when you're in man coverage. Because that's what you need to do. Don't worry about no fucking quarterback. Because you're worrying about quarterback, he's going to complete a pass.
That's the safety's job.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in zone coverage, you should be looking at quarterback because that's your job. You're defending an area, but you need to be flicking. You need to play what they call a triangle. But let's not get into the dynamics of coaching here. But what I like about Jamal Dean is he isn't caught staring at quarterbacks. He isn't caught staring at the wrong thing. He's a little bit more eye disciplined. And I've always said, if you can read read an offense, you can make plays, and that's a big thing in this game.
Yeah.
He's got a bit more length to him. It's kind of weird that we have two Auburn DBs on our crew, but hey, it is what it is.
I don't mind. Auburn was fire at that time too on their defense.
Oh no, that no doubt, absolutely no doubt.
Now everybody's looking for LSU players and stuff. So look
Yeah,
what
well.
happened to LSU now.
Didn't they lose the other day?
Yeah, they lost to, who was it? FSU.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
It's funny.
our boy Mike Evans gets his homage, and he gets to join the Texas A&M Hall of Fame, Academic Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
Hey, we're just blessed with talent right now. Right now.
Yeah.
We are
I'm
absolutely.
glad that Texas A&M recognized the fact that Mike Evans made Johnny Manziel.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
A lot of times they don't do that. They overlook the wide receiver and what he's done,
Mhm.
and just give the accolades to the quarterback. They finally got it right here.
Yeah, totally agree.
Did he
Deserves
drop
it.
off the face of the earth, or is he trying to do Canada ball? Or
He got kicked out of Canada. He tried to play in the AAF there for a minute. Didn't
But
succeed there.
he's in something else. He's in that it's like that video game one. I can't remember what it's called. Fan control football.
Fan control
Fan
football.
control
Yeah.
football.
That's where he needs to be.
He's admitted, and I respect the hell out of just his personality is just what he's about.
Sure.
He just said, like, I don't love ball enough to be an NFL player. Like, I don't care enough. I like playing ball. I don't love playing ball. I like being a dude. And I'm like, okay, well, hey, there's a job for you.
I
There's nothing wrong
respect
with
that more if he'd have came out and said that before he tried
Mhm.
the NFL and
I
couldn't.
probably thought he was arrogant enough to believe that he could.
Yeah.
Of course,
You know,
absolutely. Are you going to turn around and go, well, I don't give a shit? Like, come on. Like, we know he won't read no playbook.
Well, you got to sell yourself, you know?
Mm-hmm.
John, you were in that. You were
Blame
in
the
that.
Browns for fucking falling for it. There are ways to find out that shit.
John, you were in my draft link that day when we were trashing him. Man.
Yeah.
We were trashing him.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
drop some more, Johnny.
Yeah, but look at all the quarterbacks that the Browns have missed on.
Yeah,
You know?
it was no
you know
surprise
what,
that they
though?
would
I don't like
reach for
them.
him.
I don't
He
like
did drop low, though, didn't he? He did drop real low. It's not like he was like first go off the board. Like Mike went way before him.
What, Teresa?
That's the same reason I don't like Baker Mayfield.
I think Baker Mayfield has that arrogance, but I think he's a more talented quarterback.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
he's
it's
a
a
legend
different
in his own
type of
mind. That
challenge.
usually comes back to bite you in the butt.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a point. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
To
I
me,
mean-
I don't think Baker's about this.
No, he's not.
He's about
he's
he's
just
about
about
proving himself.
Ignoring the
I like
accolades.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's more about swagger. He's more about himself. It's more about ego,
Yeah,
which is in some ways is a good thing because
it's
you
always a
want him
good
to
thing with a quarterback as long as you have it placed right.
Yeah.
Look at Brady. If it wasn't for his ego, you think he'd been doing what he's doing now?
Probably not.
No way, man. He don't like to lose. And that
No.
ego just eats you up if you lose at something, man.
That's good.
I heard a story. Was he turned around to Robert Kraft and said, "The best thing you ever did was draft me."
Yep.
And that was before he was Super Bowl winner. That was before Super Bowl winning. That was before he was the man. That was before everything. He was the best thing you ever did was draft me. he put a bet on himself and was like, I'm going for it. And you see that with great people. Great people put a bet on themselves and go, I'm going to do this. Because I heard this one thing about trash talking, and they always say like trash talking. I think it was Chad Johnson. Chad Johnson came out and said, "Oh, trash talking this, trash talking that," and they're like, aren't you worried that like that someone wants to put you out? And he went, no, because it makes me play better. Because I turn around and said, I'm going to kick your fucking ass. I have to do it. I've got no choice. I've kind of all bets are on the table. Like all my cards are out. I've got no choice. I've got to kick your ass, or you beat me.
Anybody see the new NFL commercial with Jordan up there talking about the Dallas game? Yeah. Yes. That got me pumped up. I was like, yeah. Tell him, Jordan.
Johnny, I'm sure you remember this. Remember when Deion Sanders was drafted by the Falcons? He came out and said that I'm going to ask for so much money, they're going to have to put me on layaway. So
he was the one. He's like the odd man out. Usually, if everybody's after money and bling and stuff, they don't usually work out so well.
Mm-hmm.
But Deion, man, he came out there. You can't take nothing away from Deion Sanders, man.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
And that's one of the cases where put up or shut up really paid off for him.
I'd say the biggest thing about Deion that made him bigger was the position he played, because at the time the position he played was not respected enough.
Mm-hmm.
You were a linebacker, you were a D lineman, you were this, you were that.
Sure.
You weren't a cornerback. He kind of glamorized the cornerback position for other people like a Jalen Ramsey, and he paved the way to say you can get paid if you play this position, because he made it look sexy. He made it fun to play.
Well, there was one other person too before him in the 80s, and that was Darryl Green, who made the cornerback position look sexy as hell, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was really good, and he was so soft-spoken too. He wasn't so flamboyant.
Yeah, but he'd go up against.
You need that flamboyant. You want that.
Those matchups between Darryl Green and Willie Gault, man, two Olympic runners. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
those were spectacular, dude. They were great.
Yeah. I'm just glad we got Tom Brady when we did, because he'd gone through the really arrogant. I mean, remember when they were going to play the Giants in the Super Bowl, and somebody said something about 17 points, and Tom goes, "Wait, you think we're only going to score 17 points?" And they only scored 17 points, and they'd lost the Super Bowl.
I think we got Tom Brady at the perfect time.
We got it.
This is probably the best part of his legacy right here.
Yeah, he
only got better. He only got better.
He had something to prove when he came to the Buccaneers.
He did. He really did, because at that time, when he was with the Patriots, it was all Bill Belichick and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And even I thought, okay, this is a system that we've seen Matt Castle go into and succeed when Brady was out, right?
Yep.
So I didn't know, but when he came here and did what he did, he solidified his legacy right there.
Agreed.
Not only does he play well, but he changes the atmosphere in the locker room.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. When you go to the locker room, someone's going to turn around and sit there and go, right, so why, like Johnny explained to me, and I disagree with disagree with the process, but he explained the process to me, that when you go to the Hall of Fame, someone goes to bat for you. Mm-hmm. So someone goes to bat for Tom Brady, and they go, well, he was at New England and he did X, Y, Z, whatever. Oh, guess what? He went with this team. Oh, guess that. Do you know when was the last time that team went to the playoffs? 2007. Did they win their playoff game? No. When was the last time they won a playoff game? 2002. So he comes in 2020, turns that team around. They win a fucking Super Bowl just like that. That's how good he is.
Yeah.
Yep. 1 year.
Yep.
It's not even a discussion at this point.
No, there's not. I don't even know. Man, just let him keep playing and put him in the Hall of Fame anyway, because he's good.
He's going in.
Yeah.
The moment he retires, I think he should go in.
Yeah. I don't think there should be
They got to wait 5 years.
No, I agree. Right in, because he's a sure bet.
Oh, I agree, but they're going to make him wait the 5 years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's.
But Peyton's already said he wants to introduce him,
Now, here's a question for you guys.
Uh-huh.
Does he automatically go into the Bucs Ring of Honor when he retires?
Yes.
Yes.
I think so.
I mean, they're putting Bruce Arians in.
Come in here and do what he's done in 3 years? Absolutely.
You have to.
Yep.
He's going to break every Buccaneer passing record this year, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, everyone. That's not a huge accomplishment, but
Right.
Well,
But at the same time, it is an accomplishment regardless. You know, so he's done that, and then if he can turn around and go, well, every time he's been there, they've been a winning team. Can we say there's a quarterback that's been in the Buccaneers that have won 3 back-to-back-to-back seasons as a winning
we
quarterback?
haven't even had anybody win the division twice in a row, man.
No.
Exactly. Well, I'm not worried about that, but I'm more worried about the fact that I'm talking about his legacy here. So he turns around and goes, right, I did this. That Buccaneers franchise turns around and goes, yeah, you're the only cat that's won
right.
2 divisional championships back to back, or you're the only guy to be our quarterback who's won 3 back to back. I mean, I think it probably 3 back to back. Now we've probably done that. I'm sure we've done that.
Yeah, Brad Johnson and Doug Williams were probably in that.
Yeah, but I would say
Brad Johnson.
probably done in spite of them rather than because of them.
Yeah, Brad was like a statue back there throwing the ball.
Right.
You
Even
look
back
at Brady.
to the Tony Dungy years, there's probably quarterbacks that have put season, and I'm being nice here. I say put seasons together. A defense put 2 seasons or 3 seasons together that they
Brad
were.
Johnson's better season was the year after the Super Bowl.
It was. You're absolutely right. But what I think maybe got the team excited around him, and maybe is why he had a better year the next year, is because he got hurt. And all he could think of was getting the team motivated to continue on.
Yeah.
Right.
On his way out, he's going, yeah, do it. And stadium's gone nuts.
Brad Johnson, there's your Ring of Honor guy. I'd put him
No,
in the Ring of
I
Honor.
put him there.
No.
Quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback for us. I think he should have.
He wasn't just a quarterback like a lot of people think. This wasn't the Ravens. It wasn't our defense that just carried him. That we had a good offense. He was the number 1 ranked quarterback either that year or the next year.
We had
in the
Pittman.
league. Had the highest passing percentage.
We got what's his name? Keenan out of Jacksonville.
Keyshawn. Oh yeah, Ken McCardle.
Mm-hmm.
Was Joey still with us?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Joey Galloway?
No, that was before Joey.
Okay. Yeah, because I know him and Joey and Gruden had beef.
Yeah, I think he came in the year after Keyshawn left. We got him in a trade from the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
And then Brad ended up going to the Cowboys.
I used to love watching Joey run, man.
Yeah, he was fast.
That guy was so fast.
Joe Galloway was great.
So let's
Mike Allstott. I think the biggest disservice the Buccaneers did to themselves early on was letting Doug Williams go because Culverhouse was too cheap to pay him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know. I think that's one of the biggest crimes in NFL history, in Buccaneers history at least.
Yeah.
He clearly had talent. Like it's not even a conversation. I mean, I didn't get to watch it or anything, but you can see the stats. You can see what he's done in his career. It's a little bit of a heartbreaker.
It is a big heartbreak. And
if you think about it, though, Doug was never
Culverhouses-
named a starter anywhere else.
Yeah, the Culverhouses could make a Lincoln penny. They could make Lincoln cry. They just held that money so.
John, what was what's her name? Culverhouse's wife. What was her famous saying?
Oh, that if she could dig him up and kill him again, she would.
Yeah. I like that. That's real. That's fucking funny. So let's talk a little about injuries that's going on with the Buccaneers. Rashard Robinson's taken an injury settlement. He's going to come back potentially week 7 unless a team can sign him. Cyril Grayson Jr., we all know what he can do. We've seen what he can do. He can win a game for us when needed. Cyril Grayson's is also on an injury settlement, expected to come back week 8. He can also sign for another team. Luke Gogeteke, I believe that's exactly how it's pronounced because I've seen the phonetic.
Gedeke is how they pronounce it here on the radio.
I've heard Gaduke.
Get
I
it.
think wild shit. He's won the job. I don't know if he's won it. I think he's just been bestowed upon him, if I'm brutally honest. But look, guys, we're going into week 1. Obviously, we know the biggest concern of this football team is the middle of that offensive line, that guard center combination.
Yeah.
I said this in my last one. I'm going to say it to you guys. If you were to pick up the paper or open up your phone and go, football news, you see the Buccaneers, what do you want the headline to be? The Buccaneers, boom. Let's go with you, John.
Buccaneers blow out the Cowboys.
Okay.
I would love to see a total domination. And I was reading some statistics this week, and the Bucs have only beaten Dallas one time in Dallas in their history. So I would love to see them go into their house and just blow them out.
Well, we got enough of our fans there, so hopefully.
Yeah. Agreed.
Invasion going to be there?
Huh?
Invasion going to be there?
Yeah, we actually have a couple of members that are there. Scott and Lisa Kaminsky.
Yeah.
Yep, they've been taking pictures all over Dallas with the Buccaneer Invasion flag. Kind of cool.
Nice.
I love it.
Johnny,
Teresa, what's your prediction on this?
Does it have to be week 1 prediction?
No. You open the paper and it says Buccaneers.
Beat that Saints ass.
That's not. I love it, and I adore it. But come on,
In New Orleans.
the Dallas Cowboys team. Come on.
Dallas Cowboys. Buccaneers.
Be honest, Teresa.
Yeah, I am.
You always are.
Buccaneers eke out a close one.
Okay. I think that's. I think I'm getting in between you two now. I think that's where I'm at.
As long as there's a win in that somewhere, I think we'll all settle for that.
Yeah. Absolutely. A win's a win, so it doesn't matter how you do it. But I think you're like, I want to put it to them Cowboys. I can see it in your smile.
My prediction was completely unbiased. It's maybe a little more unbiased because I am a Bucs fan. So I had to take Dallas in a very close one, like 1 point. Just the only reason I did that is I think the teams are pretty much equal right now.
I agree
with the
with
injuries and the way the tackles. All right, the tackles for Dallas are bad. So our edge rushers are going to stop Dak Prescott from doing what he wants to do, which is scramble outside to get time for his wide receiver. Our problem is Brady likes to step into the pocket. That's his play. He don't do that scrambling crap. And he wants to step up into the pocket to hit his receivers downfield or short. Even when he's throwing short balls, if you watched him in New England, he steps into the pocket to do it.
No, you're right. You're right. Absolutely right.
So it balances to me right there. And in a balanced game, I usually take the home team, which I had to do. My prediction was for NFL edition. So I was being as unbiased as I could be.
Sure.
I want Tampa to just stomp their butts. I'll take that loss on my predictions any day.
Yeah, exactly.
I just think we've got a better wide receiver core than Dak has. They lost too much. They lost too much in the offseason.
Well, here's the thing for me, and I'll just add my little 2 cents with you. I said in Ray's show last night that the biggest thing I say for teams in week 1, play defense, run the football. And I think it will come down to the team that can play defense best and run the football, because last year was a slugfest.
Yeah.
If the Buccaneers can solidify defensive football and they can solidify running the football, whether it's east, west, north, south, it doesn't matter, as long as they get positive yards and they are gaining, I believe they will become the victors of this game. So I have Buccaneers winning by 5. Only because, and I know that's it's a lot of points, only because I think something's going to go wrong with officiating, because it always frickin' does.
Yeah.
Someone's going to get beat up over it. I tell you
do
what,
they get to
it's
choose
the
what
story of
official
Dallas
they want?
Cowboys fans to be down on their luck, to go, oh, we lost because of. and that's why I went for it. I went because Dallas Cowboy fans need to find a reason that they lost. They didn't lose because they were shit. They didn't lose because they didn't play the game properly. They lost because of the referee and officiating. Their coach agrees with them. You know what that breeds? Discontent.
Yeah.
If your culture is, oh, we get fucked by the zebras, guess what? You're going to lose a lot of football games.
If they lose, it's going to be because Tony Pollard and Zeke Elliott aren't as good as Leonard Fournette and what's his name?
I agree. Week 1, you got to
not
remember.
Rashad White, but the other running back.
I'm looking.
Week 1, week 1, you're coming in. You haven't jowled as much yet, and you got to say, and this is 100% with Brady too, because he's been away for 11 days.
Exactly, a lot, man. He hasn't even been around these guys that much. What, 2 weeks? So
I mean, I'm not worried if it was a completely healthy complement with a Chris Godwin and a Mike Evans, but then you've got a Russell Gage, and you're bringing in a Julio Jones. It's not the same. I'm not saying that Julio Jones is not a talented player, because we all know what that guy's capable of. Buccaneers fans know exactly what that guy can do. We know what he can do. He just can't score touchdowns as much.
The other running back, by the way, was Keyshawn Vaughn and Giovanni Bernard.
Thank you. Keyshawn Vaughn is what I was talking about.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad you figured it out.
Because as far as I know, Keyshawn's still got the number 2 role until Rashad White takes it over, you know?
Yeah.
He's been Rashad White's been named as backup. Last I checked.
The number 2 spot?
Yeah.
I know he's been named as starter for return.
He's number 2, 100%. I'll see if I can find it while we chat.
I feel a little bit better about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very high on him.
I think Keyshawn Vaughn's got better over the time, to be honest.
Keyshawn Vaughn is as inconsistent as they come, man. Last year, how many of us stood up yelling, yeah, when Keyshawn had that big run, right? And then turned around and fumbled the ball. So I just can't get behind him right now.
Show some more consistency.
I'll tell you what, let's have a little taste of our comments, because we got a few comments, and last one was Johnny Dean, and he's here, so that's irrelevant anymore. So we got Campbell White, who's becoming my new favorite person because she comments the most. I mean, she's top commenter of the month.
Sister.
And I'm giving her kudos.
It's my little sister.
So tough game, 2021. Yeah, it was a heartbreaker.
That's her score. 21-20 Bucs.
Okay. Fred Moore says demolished Cowboys 57-0.
Even though he dropped the Swayze, it's still Fred.
Fred, what's our record going to be this year, Fred?
Yeah, you can't comment unless you call out the record first, Fred.
Yeah.
Kentucky's defense dominating Florida. I don't know. I'm not watching it, so you guys will have to put me on. What's happening? What's happening in the wood of college?
Notre Dame is Notre Dame, and so is Alabama. the Alabama almost gave away a game today, man.
And Notre Dame lost to Marshall.
Yeah, Marshall. Go Herd. Go Herd.
And then Georgia won big time.
Yeah, Georgia's going to be number 1 at the end of the week.
What did they play? Helen Keller's School of the Blind?
Oh, come on.
Georgia's pretty good there, John.
They got to be. Look at all they lost in the draft.
Right.
They are, but this time of year, college teams are only playing patsy teams.
Yeah.
Well, there's some 2 and 3. Well, yeah, I guess last week Notre Dame became the patsy team.
Getting away with the whole college thing that we're talking about. I'm going to put the GM's head on every single one person, and we'll go clockwise. You got that $6 million a year. What are you doing with it? Are you just going to leave it? And that's not a bad thing if you do. But just tell me what you'd want to do and explain your reasons why. Let's go with you, John.
I'd go ahead and hold on to it for a little bit. Let's see how the schedule plays out. If our offensive line starts to falter a little bit, we go out and we hire a experienced vet. And then if not, then whatever the need may be at that time of the season.
Mhm.
But yeah, hold on to it.
Ditto. John, I'm so proud of you, man.
Every once in a while.
He has a moment. He has his moments. I love it.
No, John has showed me more growth in the time I've known him than anybody I've met, man.
And we've known each
He
other
is
quite a
awesome.
bit.
Me
Quite
too.
a long time.
He wanted a sister.
That's all he needed. That's all he needed.
Hey, he got it.
Mm-hmm. Me
Three,
and my
you're-
sister too. I'm the
you're-
GM. Okay, I'm going to hold on to the $6 million. I'm going to, like you said, ascertain what's going on. Maybe I have to spend some money. But I tell you one thing, if Gronk comes back, I don't want to pay $6 million for half a season.
Mhm.
I just don't. So I tried to get his Drew Rosenhaus to lower that salary.
What would you give him?
I
What's
would
your
probably
cutoff?
give
Wait a
him.
minute. Coming in injured, not in football shape,
Mhm.
have to take time to get back into football shape. What do you give him?
I think he's not too far out of shape.
Did you see the parties he's been to lately? Ooh.
Yeah, but I've also seen his physique, and he doesn't look like he's missing
He's
much.
always had that physique, though.
Yeah.
Yes, his
And it
brother's
wouldn't
still
surprise
has
me
it,
if he
too.
isn't working out with somebody like Julian Edelman or something like that.
I
See,
doubt
that's the
it.
thing that I've heard. I've heard Julian Edelman is talking about coming back, and you know what that's going to mean for us Tampa Bay Buccaneers is we're going to get bombarded with guys who, Tom Brady fans, like they
Right.
were with him when he was in Michigan, when he was a nobody. No.
Do you know how
But
much
hey.
money Julian Edelman is making on inside the NFL?
Oh no, I don't doubt it. And I don't think he'll make
A
a lot of money.
money
But
not to be beat.
Yeah, all you got to do is go. You get Paramount Plus, right?
Mhm.
Or across the pond there.
Oh.
yes, we do. In fact, I found out today, and it's a funny story you say that. My daughter signed us up to it.
Awesome, she's smart.
It's costing her mommy and daddy fucking money. Her ass is gonna fucking eat bread tomorrow.
Good girl.
Make her do some chores for it.
Go check out last season.
I'm a big
Inside
Star
the
Trek fan,
NFL
so
and
it
listen
works
to
out
Julian
great
Edelman.
for me, to be honest. I'm a huge Star Trek fan, so it works out great.
All right, me too. I love all the new Star Trek. Don't get me started on my geek stuff, man.
Johnny, you and I could do a show just hours of that.
We could, but
I tell you what, we'll go Buc Trek. Buc Trek.
that sounds too much like butt crack, dude.
Yeah. I said
Yeah,
it. And
we already got the Succaneers, the Sucks, Don't
Hey,
give them anything else.
all those boys that talk shit about us, they gotta lose to us now. So
Well, it's mainly.
It's like they have all forgot. I go to these. The only ones that talk crap are the Saints, and they've earned that right. Okay.
Yeah.
But everybody else, it's like they forgot about our past. Now they admit that we're the guys they got to get.
Yeah.
And that surprises me in that short amount of time, because you know how even after 2002, it was like, you guys got lucky, blah 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 blah. But you don't
Well,
hear
that's
that
what they're saying about 2020.
I think they got lucky when they won the fucking Super Bowl with Breeze, because what's he done since?
Well, that's it exactly. That's what people are coming back at him because they keep saying, "Well, we won the division," and he's like, "How's that flag flying for you?"
Do you know how it flies? It flies with a Super Bowl championship.
We'll
Mother
take the
trucker.
Super Bowl trophy over the division title.
But hey, I tell you what, fly that flag, because underneath, over the top, you'll need to put a eventual Super Bowl losers.
I know this ain't Bucs, but could I address this comment by Christopher here a second?
Yeah.
Christopher, that was Bama at its full strength with the Heisman Trophy winner against a backup quarterback and an unranked team. I don't want to hear no excuses for Bama. No, I ain't listening to it.
Alabama won by
Bama
one
fans are
today, by the way, for those
Yeah.
who don't know.
Who was it who put? And there was I think it was Marty sent a message in a Metal Edition. It's the funniest thing I saw. I sent it to my wife. I showed my wife to see if she'd get it. So obviously, we're both English people, so I was really not expecting to get it. And she went, Alabama. I was like, damn, I love you. It was a picture of a dude looking at his phone going, can't believe what we did at our family reunion last night. And she just writes, Roll Tide. And they both kind of like turn to the side, go, oh, I'm so lucky. Showed my wife, she went, Alabama. I'm like, yeah. And it translates through. It translates through. I love it. But hey, we got a game coming up, and the biggest thing that all of us are talking about now, I've noticed, talking about our offensive line. And Tom Brady on his own Let's Go podcast turned around and said, I hope they know what everyone's saying about them, because they need to go.
Motivation.
I believe the words were, I hope they take it to heart. And he turned around to him and said, what the fuck are you going to do about it? And we know from Tom Brady, players don't want to let him down. Like, players play better when they're around that guy. So we're lucky in that sense. We have been like chipped down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I do think we'll eventually prevail. I don't think we'll outright win, but we'll eventually prevail against Dallas, because I believe no one wants to let Tom Brady down. And when I looked at Luke Gettickey's film when he played against the Colts, and for me, that was like the eye-open game, because that was the game that he had to kind of prove that he belonged, because Tom Brady's going to point it out. Like, Tom Brady don't want to get hit.
You don't want to let Tom Brady get hit.
You don't want to be
He's going to let you hear it.
Yes, and yes, 100-fold. So I like to think.
Yep.
I'd like to think he didn't want to let Tom Brady down, and when he started making them stupid mistakes, and he started letting guys get around him and do plays on him, I was blaming Gabbert, and it was he shouldn't have been there. He should have been whipped out. Done. Starter. Done. Get him out. What's the point in him being there? And I remember watching at the time going, oh my God, this guy's going to protect Tom Brady. And I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? Protecting Kyle Trask and protecting Tom Brady are two huge different things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to think I'm not saying that we solidified our front, but what I'm saying is I don't think it's as weak as everyone thinks it is. I like to think we're going to end up trying to bully players. I believe there's a scheme in place by Todd Bowles about controlling that front four from Dallas, and I think they'll just focus on the guy. Like, hey, you got a guy on that 3 technique. You two, just take him out. That's all you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Shaq Mason's good enough. He can go toe to toe 1-on-1.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, every time you look at the every time you look at offense versus defense when it comes to the line, traditionally. Now I know there's variations of this. There's variations of it. It's usually 4 against 5. All right. So I'll take my center and the guard double in one guy, and I'll take 1-on-1s on everyone else. I know what you're gonna say, Johnny. Sounds good on paper. You're absolutely right. We don't know, but on paper, sounds great.
Exactly. My main issue is we don't know what our run stopping ability is going to be.
Right.
No. Well, I think we do.
No, not really, because we know that on paper it looks like we've pretty much replaced it. Dominican Sue is as easily replaced as you would think.
No.
Dominican Sue was one of the worst run defenders in football last year versus Pro Football Focus. He's a pass rusher only.
Well,
I'm just saying this is what Pro Football is focused. So we've technically, from a run standpoint, rated.
The year before, when Vita Vea was healthy all year long,
Uh-huh.
that's what I'm talking about. You can't. Vita Vea wasn't healthy, so Dominican Sue was having to play pass rush and run stop by himself, basically.
I'm talking about last year, though.
I'm talking about last year.
He wasn't that injured last year, though.
Yes, he was. He
That
was
was
out
the
a
year
lot
he came
last
back
year.
and won us the Super Bowl.
What?
The year we won the Super Bowl was the year he came back in the playoffs. He got injured in Chicago and came back in the playoffs.
That might be. I remember him coming back at the playoff time.
Yeah. It was a big thing that he came back for Green Bay.
Yes.
He came back for Green Bay and decked Aaron Rodgers.
Oh.
That's all right, bro. But that's my point. He is a better run defense. I believe that we've got a better run defense than we have a pass rush defense, and that's fine because you rely on your.
He was out 2 games.
And this is where I get your doubt, Johnny. This is where I get your doubt with JTS because we don't know what we're going to get with him yet, and he started.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm more comfortable putting Carl Nassib out there.
Yeah, I am too.
To start with,
I understand Carl Nassib's heart. I don't understand. That's what I was trying to say before you interrupted me with the Sue thing. But I still think Sue and Vay work together as a team better than anybody else can. I've never seen that before. We shot up when Sue signed on. We shot up to number 1 run defense. Before Sue, the year before Sue came in, we were dead last, dude.
Yeah.
I'm just saying what pro. Hang on, I'll see if I can find the answer. I'll send it to you, brother. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong because
JPP.
Your information from one information, I get my information from one information. No one's technically right. The run defense was still good last year.
Yeah, it was ranked 3rd in the nation.
There you go. So I'm not saying he's bad. Like he's bad per se. I'm just saying that out of the defensive linemen, pro football, but
he still wants to play.
To be the weakest one.
Yeah, he still does want to play. But what my other point is JPP, you can't replace his heart. I got to see some heart out of Shoyanka, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, you are 100% on the nail on that because I don't think he's the same.
No,
right now, like, if you were to turn around to me and go, you got JTS versus that freaking dude. I mean, he's so good. He just comes off the ball, and I heard a great story about him where he played against the Tennessee tackle, who's all pro. He's a legend of the modern game, I guess you could say, in Taylor Lewan, and he beat him in practices and turned around and went, "I did all that with one hand."
Look at that cute smile that Teresa
his ass, turned him around in a blender, and he went, "Oh my god!" He went, "I did that with one hand, kid."
Yeah, my problem with Shoyanka is he likes to over pursue. That'll take time for him to learn that, but he's got to start now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's going to start now, I believe, and I think that he's just trying to get that starting spot locked down.
Yeah, and Alex would tell you, as playing the offensive lineman, you love to play somebody who over pursues because you can always push them outside. You know, get them out of the quarterback's way. But I've seen a couple of moves from Shoyanka that makes me hopeful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got some swagger. Which is why they drafted him, I think, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just hope it sticks, to be honest. I mean, it's just one of those things. You don't know what you're going to get until you get it.
Honestly, he was the best defensive edge rusher left on the board when we drafted, too. So
yeah. And you got 6 sacks. Am I 6?
That sounds about right.
6 for a first round draft pick. That's bottom of the first is pretty solid. I mean, it's where you want him to be.
Can only get better.
Yeah.
I hope so.
That's the good thing about a young player, man. They can only get better. And right now is when he should be soaking all this up. He's got Todd Bowles. He's got all that experience on the line around him and stuff, man. And got Barrett there, who learned from 2 of the best edge rushers in the league, man.
Yeah.
So, So,
it's real quiet about him right now. Why? He's still the same player.
you can't put Barrett rushing because his get off is so quick. It's right time, perfectly with the ball, and the referee's always caught flagging for false start.
Mhm.
And if you go back and slow motion those plays, he's moving as soon as the ball is snapped. I mean, the ball moves, he moves.
Mhm.
His get off is so friggin' quick, man.
Mm.
And he's got a whole list of moves, but now they're moving him around a lot on the field. So,
But I think we can all argue that he's, at the end of the day, that this Buccaneers defense is probably as strong or stronger than it was last season. Let's go around the clock and say with that, is stronger or weaker than last season? John.
me or Johnny?
I honestly would have
You're
liked
John. He's John. You're Johnny.
John and Johnny. I honestly would have liked to have seen Dominic Sue come back. Honestly, myself. I mean, I think it's going to be equivalent to last year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm hoping it'll be equivalent to last year. I don't have anything to really doubt about except for a couple of spots, and that's on the line.
Okay. Teresa, what do you think?
Well, I've been thinking about this, but I got to see him playing.
Thank you.
I get it, but like, going into the game, what's your expectation? Do you think it's going to be better, or like just an expectation thing?
I think they are going to have a couple of games where they're getting it together. They learning to work together, learning to be in the NFL. They've just got a lot of learning going on. Even though we had preseason, it's still not the same as game action.
Okay. I mean,
I think we'll learn really quick because these first 4 games are brutal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're going to know. But then I've been here since 76, so,
I'll praise them as the greatest defense in the world if we can sweep the Saints.
You're talking dirty. You're talking dirty to me now.
I'm just saying, if we could just sweep the friggin' Saints, man.
I'd love that. No, I it's like a part of me is like, do you care about the rest of the season? Of course, I care about the rest of the season, but that would be like, that'd be like that.
We've won 2 Super Bowls by getting swept by the Saints. I'm tired of that.
Right.
I'm so tired of that. I'm ready to just, if we win a Super Bowl, I want to sweep the Saints along with it.
I agree. Who replaced Sue is a question by Michelle.
We've got a lot of
the guy from Chicago.
I do apologize. Let's go from the top, because I do apologize to everyone who's commented. I mean, I've been blissfully unaware. Kentucky's defense is dominant. We got that one. Fred Moore goes, my headline is 20-0. Yeah, we know that. Sorry, I want to give Fred his flowers. Fred, there's no reason you shouldn't believe that. You just been drinking a lot tonight, and that's fine. If you need to talk to somebody, ring 01905 427 688. That's my number, brother.
Don't change, Fred. That's our guy, man. He let that 20 in a row stand.
Hey, if he needs help, I'm helping him, brother.
He don't need help. He's got his head in the right place.
In NFL edition, lick it up. No, I was saying that Texas should have won that game. They should have. They let it go away, and that's the end of discussion.
Yeah.
JPP is amazing. Man. JPP is he is a Florida legend.
Played for
USF. Football legend. I mean, he was great with the Giants, man. He's a football legend.
Yeah. Michelle and Dave, hi, my friends.
Hall of Famer?
No. JPP?
No.
No. I'd have to look his stats over really closely, but
No, you can look at stats. Trust me, they're great, but they're not that great.
I think though that if he goes in, it's going to be as a Giant. It's not going to be as.
No, he's not even close to Severi. I'm trying to Semyon Rice. He's not even close to Semyon Rice yet.
I love Simeon.
Simeon's
Exactly.
the only 100
Yeah,
sack guy I
Semyon's
know
not
that
in.
hasn't
That
been
guy
nominated.
does not deserve to be in. I'm
That's
sorry.
true.
No, I have nothing against JPP. I think JPP is a dude. I believe, this is my personal opinion, JPP is the Hardy Nickerson of our culture today.
Simeon
He's
Rice,
that
that's
free
another
agent
name.
that turned it around with attitude.
Simeon Rice is another guy that belongs in the Ring of Honor.
He's got over 100 sacks. He should be in.
Yep,
He's the only
he
one that
should
I
be
know
in.
of with 100 sacks plus that isn't in the Hall of Fame or,
Yeah,
being
it's
talked
ridiculous.
about going into the Hall of Fame when they get there.
But
It is
Absolutely.
ridiculous. That pisses me off. I swear. Rondé and Simeon, they're two burrs under my skin, man. You want to
Yeah.
get me ranting and just talk about them two for a minute or two.
Absolutely. Rondé was the guy who modeled like how I wanted to play.
Yeah.
McCoy couldn't play run defense to save his life. I think he was better than people think, but I just
No,
don't
he wasn't. That's what he is the reason we had the worst run defense in the league the whole time he was here. He was good at getting pressure on the quarterbacks,
Yeah.
but he was no good at stopping the run at all.
yeah,
of
I
pressure
saw him
free.
one time on Family Feud. He was okay on that.
Michelle and Dave, Akeem Hicks replaced Ndamukong.
Akeem Hicks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
The secondary is healthy, and Dean has something to prove this year. You know what? I think it's always been a battle. Something you said, Teresa, when you said it's kind of been even. I agree, because it's always been like this kind of. It's been like that with them two.
Mhm.
It's never been a clear cut. Like, it might be to our eyes, but from a coaching, I'm just going with coaching stuff, because at the end of the day, it don't matter what I think, it don't matter what you think, it doesn't matter what the person left to me thinks. It's down to the coaching staff, and the coaching staff see them very similar skill setted, and they always have.
Yep.
Which is the first time that Jamal Dean has taken the step to go, I am the freaking dude. So we'll see if he really holds up to it and they don't go back to him. Because usually what happens.
Remember, Dean was brought in for a special teams guy.
Mhm.
He wasn't even supposed to start when he started, and he can be left alone on a guy. You can't leave Bunting alone because he wants to play like he's playing a safety position. Bunting, I swear I would move Bunting to a safety. He's got all the skill sets for a safety. He's a ball hawk. He wants to watch the quarterback a lot. Set him back there and let him be a safety. I don't think you can ever put him one-on-one in coverage and keep him there like that, like Dean.
You know what? That's one thing I never really thought of, and I feel real bad of it because I'm a DB coach first and foremost, and yeah, I think you're pretty much right on that one. Like, when Rondé Barber went and played safety for us, he had a career year. I just wonder if they did that to him like maybe 2 years before, then he could have carved out a bit more of a career too.
I believe he would have, yeah.
Because he's just.
But then he retired. He still retired at the top of his game there. So.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. And when you can walk out that way, that means a lot.
Yeah.
Well, while I munch away, and I'm having a good time, I don't know if you took a little segment out of my show, and we did a thing called Phonetically Challenge. I know me and Johnny Dean's gone for it. There's a couple of players that I didn't realize how their name's pronounced. And I thought, I always say Kokeft. It's Kokieft.
Okay.
And it's not Luke Gedeke. It's Luke Geteke. And here's the fun part. This is my favorite one. Because I'm not going to try and pronounce his name. I'm just going to say it phonetically because that's probably my best bet. Ola K1 Le Fatukasi. That's my best. That's a Polynesian name all day long. I know that.
Whatever happened
just
to
read,
the good old days of Ogumbawale and Palomalo and those guys, man? Whatever happened to those easy ones, man?
Well, I was just reading something about you today,
Yeah.
and they put down his full name. Now it's about that long,
Yeah, it's like 6 names.
and they
Not
put
Vita
down Vita and Vey.
Yeah. Vay's last name is impossible.
Oh yeah.
Not necessarily. I mean, I'm from the UK, and we have a lot of Polynesians in rugby, so his name's got a lot to do. I mean, I'll have a go at it. Okay. I do apologize if this comes up. Tavita Vea, if you listen to this, I do apologize. Tavita Taloku Atakeu
Wow.
Tualapu Masusi Maha Vahusu Vahe Fakaho Falatau Vea. I know the Falatau part because I've heard that many a time in rugby, but that middle bit of his name is just like shit. Tavita, easy.
That's
Yeah.
sad to do that.
Tavita Falate Vea, all day long. Easy. I don't know how anyone could not call him Tavita. But that being said, we had a rugby player in this country who's Tongan who has Tavita and Falatau in his name. And after a while, when he got big and his name started to grow, he said, I don't want to be called Toby no more. Because his coaches couldn't pronounce his name because it was Tavita. And now he is Tavita Talupe Falatau. That's pretty freaking awesome that he got them to change his name. And it just goes to show, like, he's Tongan. His father was related to the Prince of Tonga. So it just goes to show that the names kind of stick true. So that you got a Tavita there, you got a Falatau Vea. So yeah, the name kind of rings true a little bit in those South Sea Islanders. I love it.
I'm calling him Toby from now on.
Toby. Toby Vea. He's gonna look at me like, what the fuck is this motherfucker talking about? I love it. Hey, I'd love them to meet because they are beasts. Both of them beasts. I mean, Talupe is a number 8, which means he basically charges into offenses. Like, he literally just picks the ball and runs the pill.
Speaking of beasts, let me ask you a question.
Right.
It took a year with Sue before Vea really had that beast attitude. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How long before Tristan Wirfs gets that beast attitude? Especially if Jensen stays around.
Yeah.
That's a great question. I don't think he needs it yet. Unless people want to convert him to left tackle because people are obsessed with converting him to left tackle. I don't think he needs it because he's shown that already just by being the guy he is. I mean, we see the Jolly Green Giant that he perceives himself to be. And we go, oh, if only he could be a bit more aggressive. Some people just aren't that way, and that's fine. You just got to accept that they're not going to be that way. And if it works for them, it works for them. Now, if it becomes a problem, then we can talk about it. We can go, dude, like, you need to step this shit up. Like, we all know that Gerald McCoy was like, can you remember that game where we played, I can't remember, it was Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football? And he was running into, Big Ben, and he was apologizing before he even touched him. I was like, this cat's checked out. I'm done. I'm done with this shit.
Funny thing is, though, that was what he
I get
was
it. Go on, shake his hand, go, dude, I was off balance. I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I get it. Like, my favorite player on my team is apologetic. There's a fucking the highlight video I put him in when he came onto my show. Is the last video is him picking someone up, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing picking him up? You know, what do you mean? I'm like, stand on his neck.
I don't mind them picking him up.
No,
as long as they're the ones knocking him down.
No, I don't want to see no picking up.
Well, I saw Reggie White pick people up. I saw Leroy.
I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm just saying I don't like it. I want my guys to be mean. I want them to go until that whistle goes. Let them get their own ass up. They can't get their ass up. Hey, let them burn a timeout. Let them burn something. I ain't got time to be cuddling. I ain't got time to be covering.
I've seen Mike Evans walk over and check out people that were injured and shit on the other team.
Mike Evans can do what he do. That's great. It's cute.
And
but I don't want my players
known for his kindness out there is after the play.
Great for him. I don't want my players doing it. let them get themselves
I
up.
think there's
Shake
a
their hands at the end of
difference
the
between.
game. We'll give them a hug. We'll tell them how much we love them and how much they're gonna. Hey, go on, respect your game, go on forward. Yeah, great. I don't want people picking people off the floor. That's what you have athletic trainers to do, and that's what physios are for.
Well, you're not supposed to pick them up anyway if they're injured.
People do, but people try. They see a guy struggling, they're gonna try and pick him up.
Well, if that's
Leave him
your
alone.
enemy.
Just
If
don't
that's
touch
your
him.
enemy, maybe that's a
His
psychological.
ass is on the floor. Let his ass stay on the floor.
Let's injure it a little bit more. Here, let me help you up.
You got no
He's not
Dominican
coming back
Super.
this game.
I don't have a problem with it if it's done in a certain way. Nobody can
I don't have a
discredit
problem with it. I
Reggie
just
White
prefer it.
or
I
Leroy
prefer my
Selman
guys
the
just
way
not
they
get
play.
involved with the other team because that's where shit can go down. I don't want nothing like that. I just want done your shit, get away. We can meet up after. We can beer it up. We can drink it up. We can have a chat. Whatever. We can have fucking pigtails in our hairs. Whatever you want to do, it's fine. But while the game's being played, we're after each other. That's what I'm about.
What do you think, John?
I can see it from both sides of the coin, honestly.
I like aggression, but I like it during the play. After the play is over, you kick their ass. Go ahead, pick him up, make him feel bad about himself.
Sure, but that is the way it should
but that's
be.
different. That's different. You said make him feel bad. I'm talking
While
about
you're
trying
on the
to. If
field.
you're gonna pick him up and get, hey boy, you can't handle me. I'm good with that. You're a bit
Well,
trash.
let's use this for an example. John Lynch hitting his brother-in-law.
Turn around, walked away
years ago, right? You know, while we're on the field, you're my enemy, but
right.
Off the field, you know, we can be family.
Yeah.
Hey, game's game.
I'm surprised there ain't more of it because these guys, since free agency has really ballooned off, they don't know whether next week they're going to be playing with this guy or not. You know, I'm actually surprised it doesn't happen more often now.
Johnny, are you surprised that the Dallas Cowboys ended up putting out their best slot receiver? Because I remember me and you talking on Wednesday, and you're like, nah, he's not. He's playing. And Michael Gallup.
Oh, Gallup got injured, man, in practice, man.
No, I know, but are you surprised they got that way?
Not really, because he was going to have to carry them. They only got CeeDee Lamb, Gallup, and Tony and Tony coming out of the backfield. You know, the running back, Tony Pollard.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be their slot receiver basically now.
So are you convinced that the Dallas Cowboys will prevail over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Well, it's going to be a running game, right? Dak Prescott's not going to be able to throw. Brady might be able to throw. I made my
Brady's got the
Thursday.
weapons. If Brady can't throw, he's got the weapons to throw, so he should be able to. He just should be better.
Honestly, when I based my prediction, it was Thursday, and I was basing it on the running games, and I thought that we had the edge in running because I don't see Zeke. Well, actually, I felt that it was equally Zeke and Pollard were coming out of the backfield for them, and I was thinking that we had Lenny and Rashad White coming out of the backfield for us, right?
Right.
So I balanced that out as equal to me, right? So I went with the home team. That was how I came down to the home team advantage. Now, if I was making the prediction, it wouldn't be the same, but I have to stick to my predictions, man.
Right.
You don't have to.
Yeah, I kind of do.
Why?
Because it's locked in. We're having competition in our stuff. We don't change our predictions after we make them.
Fair enough. No worries. So the Buccaneers are going in. They're going to wear the red top, and they're going to wear the white bottoms. Ooh, that looks good.
Yeah.
That's what we're getting. That's a little taste of what we're going to get.
I prefer the pewter bottoms, but it's okay.
Same. You always got something to complain about, haven't you?
A little bit. I'm always you can give me a topic, any topic you want to. You take one side, and I can always take the other side. I can make an argument for anything.
You're Johnny. I like to rant, Dean.
No, that's not a rant. That's not a rant.
Nah, I know, but
Rondé Barber not being in the Hall of Fame, that's a rant.
Me and you had a good play last week. We had some fun.
Yeah.
Michelle and Dave is saying that Gallup is out, by the way.
Yeah, I
saw
that.
Yeah,
we got a lot of them.
That's why I said Tony Pollard's going to be their slot guy. It's probably. Don't take Pollard for granted, though. He played in the slot a lot
No,
last year, man. He's really good.
Not the same though.
No, he might be better.
Not the same.
He might be better than Gallup. Gallup drops a lot of balls.
I was looking at something that said if the Dallas Cowboys are going to win in week 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're going to need their star players to step up. They'll
Yeah.
lean heavily on Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz,
Oh, I
Michael
forgot about
Parsons,
Schultz. Yeah, the tight
and
end.
DeMarcus Lawrence. Having said that, star power won't be enough.
No,
This is somebody in Dallas that wrote this.
Who are they going to line Marcus Lawrence up on? That's going to be a question too. He don't usually play inside.
Mm-hmm.
I think Donovan and Wirfs can handle him outside, but if they move him like they do Cam Jordan, and we got to watch out for that.
Cam Jordan's just an exceptional talent. He's better than
So is DeMarcus Lawrence, man. He's an exceptional.
He's better than D-Law, though. It's not even close.
Yeah, I like Fred Moore's comment there. Brady has never lost to Dallas.
Oh, I hate hearing that shit.
I don't. Yeah.
Me too. I'm the same. I'm like, but that's the way I see it is. But he's only won one game for the Buccaneers against Dallas.
Right.
He's only played him once.
Well,
Every year,
when Brady had never
animal.
lost back-to-back games, and then he was playing with us. Lost back-to-back games.
Never say shit like that, because you know what? History is always changing.
Yep.
Mhm.
This
It's
kicker
like when
is
the
never
announcers
missed
on
from
TV
25 yards out with the game on the line, and he misses.
Michelle and Dave, Gallup is out. We're thankful for it. I'm very thankful for it, to be brutally honest. I'm just going to go for the comments here, and Michelle and Dave, Rondé not being in the Hall of Fame is a travesty. Absolutely. I mean, the guy invented the nickel position. Like, if you invent a position, like, here's the question I'm going to pose to everyone here. Is Devin Hester, as a punt returner, a Hall of Famer or not?
As a punt returner, yes. But why are just punt returners being nominated into the Hall of Fame?
Okay. Do you think punt returners deserve to be in the Hall of Fame?
God.
If it's a player that changes the game,
He's a Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Fame punt returner. Does he do punt returners deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? I don't know. I love it. But this is the
Hester
point.
and Peanut Tillman were two different kinds of beasts, man. I'm going to say Devin Hester, yes, because he could change the outcome of a game.
But you can nullify him. And here's my argument. You could just kick the sideline that's to the other side.
Did they?
You might have to give up a few yards to do it, but you're not going to sacrifice a touchdown for guaranteed.
You can't keep him out because of what ifs either, because you have to
only on kick return. On punt return, you can do what you want. Kick return, you gotta let him catch it for sure.
His stats speak for themselves, man. As far as it comes, I mean, they could have done this, they could have done that, but they didn't, and that's what it comes down.
They didn't, and that's a good standpoint. So we have a guy on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers who technically invented a position, but he didn't by himself. Obviously, we know this. There's more to it than that. He created what's considered by a lot of people a starting position in the nickel backer position. What is it about our guy Rondé Barber they don't like? What possibly do they have against him, other than the fact that he's a product of being in one defense the whole of his career?
He's a Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
That's what
I
any team, Steelers, Dallas, New York, he's in the Hall of Fame right now.
I've talked to Pat 1,000 times, and he's told me, and he's in the room. He's a Hall of Fame voter, and he said honestly that it was because of the Tampa 2 defense that kept him out. Okay, and then I asked him, well, what about that? He says, well, because the front four was the most vital part of the Tampa 2 defense. Which it is. You can't disagree with that. But what Rondé Barber achieved individually in that defense and after that defense should speak for itself, because Derek Brooks is in, as he should be,
Mhm.
Warrants
And it was his individual powers that made it like that. It was.
And I disagree with you, Johnny.
It was this team, those people, players made that defense what it is because nobody else has ever done it again.
Yeah.
Johnny, can I disagree with you? And it's not because I think you're wrong, because I think you're right in some parts. It's not the fact that it's the front; it's who's in the front. Of course, a team's going to
Basically what I
succeed.
said, yeah.
All right, okay, sorry, I missed. You said the front, so I just assumed the whole front, and I'm like, well, okay. There are better fronts. There are better fronts out there in the professional football that probably have DBs that have Hall of Fame rings. So I don't know if I agree with that. I'm not saying you're wrong in the slightest. What I'm saying is, yeah, okay, fair enough. But that defense, that whole Tampa 2 defense, and if you're going to go with Tampa 2 from a coverage point of view, which I would, it doesn't matter who you got. It's still a coverage. The coverage, when you circle off those zones, you got these two guys here, you got your guys there, and you got your guys there, and you got your infinity and beyond there, and blah, 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 blah. That's the coverage. Regardless of what the front fucking does. Whether you got 4 cats that can fucking smash a guy, or you got no cats that can smash a guy. It's the same fucking defense.
It's not the same defense. That's what Rondé Barber will tell you that himself. John
No,
Lynch
what I'm saying is from a blueprint point of view, it's the same defense. It's exactly the same defense. You're telling me it's a completely different defense.
The Tampa 2 base is different. All right. A cover 2 formation is completely different than a Tampa 2 formation because it's
but that's got nothing to do with the front. It's got nothing to do with the front.
Listen,
nope, it's not how I coach it.
This came straight from John Lynch now, okay? The front fed the back. The front always fed the back end of that defense.
I get where you're coming from, but it's got nothing to do where you go into your zones.
No, it doesn't. But it
does have something to do with the timing. Where you go into your zones is exactly the same places.
It's the timing and that nickel position.
I get where you're coming from. I'm not completely discounting what you're saying. I'm just saying is the Tampa 2 defense, when you look at it from a schematical point of view, is what it is. And he did a job in a schematical defense and was amazing at it. Like you could put 4 Warren Saps across the line. That's great. Fantastic. It don't matter what defense you run, they're going to be good. Generally. Because your defensive front is always going to dictate what the quarterback is going to do. Hell, even Coach Dungy has alluded to that. Is like if you can rush a quarterback and make him go through his progressions quicker and make stupid plays, you're going to pick balls off.
They leave for the nickel quarterback. It's that gap defense that they created that made it special.
So what you're saying is, without Rondé Barber, they don't have the nickel position, and the nickel position is unique to Rondé Barber because no one else has been able to replicate it. So therefore, he's an Hall of Famer. Thank you. I love it.
I didn't say he's not a Hall of Famer. Don't you?
I'm messing with you, brother. Dude, I'm messing with you. You know it. What I was trying to do is trap you into going because you were arguing with me, and I'm like, we're on the same side, brother. All I'm saying is like he's done so much in this defense, and you were kind of go, no, it's all about the front.
No, I wasn't. I told you I was defensive about the front. What a Hall of Fame
passionate about that front that you would not let it lie. And I'm like, dude, we're on the same fucking side.
Excuse me. They aren't the same, but excuse me. I was explaining to you what a Hall of Fame voter told me.
All right.
That you wanted to know what their excuses were. I was giving you their excuses.
Dude, we came up with the same shit. We both agree that, that guy should be in the Hall of Fame.
And so should Shamian Rice.
Yes, 100%. It's not even close.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's fucking heartbreaking, and that they used the Tampa 2 as an excuse. It's not an excuse. That's a unique defense that was designed. It worked, and no one has been able to replicate it with success truly since. People have played with it and have used it in packages. It's now a package defense rather than being a solid defense. The Buccaneers took it and used it as a base defense. It won them a freaking Super Bowl, How many? I mean, I'm not going. Let's just talk about how good that defense was once it was installed. It's insane to turn around and go, oh, well, it's only a product of the system. That's like turning around and saying Gronkowski's only good because Tom Brady threw him the fucking football. Come on. Gronkowski's good because he's freaking talented. Gronkowski can do it all.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, there's communication between the two, absolutely. But there's a reason why Gronkowski sets himself apart.
Well, it's the same as the 4-3 defense. The Bears were great with it with a certain set of fucking players. Okay? Nobody else has been that great with it. It's been an average defense. The 3-4, same thing. You have the right players in the right system. So you cannot take a system and say, oh, this player was only good because of the system. Bullshit. It's the player that made the system good.
Yeah.
They enhance the system. They make it better. Like, one of the hallmarks of that Tampa 2 defense, what I was told, and I'm just going off someone who's coached it in front of me and told me all about it, who believes in its philosophies front and center, is you need to have a dominant free tech. You need to have a dominant will linebacker. And you need to have a very athletic middle linebacker. Those are the 100% components, and I'm not talking about the pro level because the pro level is probably different. You probably need that nickel more than anything else. But
You need
when you look at
pass rush is what you need. It makes the quarterback rush.
well, you need a pass. It's like when people turn around and go, "Oh, the only way to beat Brady is with a pass rush." No shit, Sherlock. When did you get your degree in football?
Now go pass rush his ass and find out.
It doesn't work that way. Of course, that's the way to beat them. It's like turning around and say, "Oh, to beat a really good pass defense, you've got to run the football." Yeah, because you've got to make them do something that they're not used to doing. It's football jargon. That's all it is. Some of it sticks true, but I find most of it's just rubbish, personally.
Hey guys,
That's another reason Simeon Rice should be in, because most of those gaps that Barber got to the quarterback on was on Simeon's side.
Man, it's criminal that both of them don't have their flowers, if I'm honest. It's a freaking crying shame, and we all know that. It's just difficult for us. I think as Bucs fans, it's just difficult for us to accept because we know that the talent that was available to us, and for someone to just discount it and say, "Oh, they weren't good enough," it's like, well, who the hell are you to tell us this person is not good enough? You got Rodney Bobby. He has a statement play. He has a closing play where he wins a playoff game for his team, closes the door, shuts down a freaking stadium. What else do you want him to do?
John, you got anything to say? I know you're sitting there going, I gotta say something.
No, I agree. It is a shame that Rondé and Simeon both aren't in the Hall of Fame. I mean, they were both, great. And Rondé, for them to keep him out just because they played the Tampa 2, that's stupid.
I got a challenge for Teresa and Slick.
Dumb.
Oh, God, you're going to go with something I don't know about.
And I'll give you this whole season, to do it. I want one of you two to get John to rant about something.
Oh, I can do that.
I don't think I could because I don't know John enough.
John is like the calmest person I've ever met in my life.
I know you can get me to rant because you've done it. You've done it twice.
I've got Alex to rant. Okay, so I have got one calm dude to rant, but I don't think I could get John to rant.
I have an opinion. Everyone else has an opinion, and
I know you got opinion. I've talked to you on the phone.
Oh, for sure.
I know you got opinions that you'll rant about, dude.
For sure.
I like to think I'm on your boat, John, but I'm a fiery person generally. So when I'm passionate about something, I just end up, I don't realize I think Johnny's like a younger me, an older me. Sorry, I do apologize. Sorry, Johnny. Johnny's like an older me. Like I see myself so much in him that like things when I feel like Justin is done. Like when me and him were going back and forth on the whole Rondé Barber thing, we were both in agreement, but we were both arguing over something. It was so stupid, but that's how passionate we are, and I think that it rings true to who we are as people, and that there's nothing wrong with that. It's just more the fact that sometimes you don't realize it. And Johnny's one of the best people at getting it out of me, and I don't realize I do. I always think I'm calm as a cucumber, and I always say like, oh yeah, I'm all about other people's opinions. And then Johnny gets me going. He just says one thing. Usually it's Rondé Barber, and then I get fucking sparked up, and I'm like, nah, and I'm off on one. And I realize like the next day, I think I've sent you messages before, Johnny, say apologizing to you for ranting, haven't I?
I love rants, man. They're great for the shows anyway.
Yeah.
No,
exactly.
I get that, but I don't realize I'm doing it half the time. And I think Johnny knows that I'm doing it, so he just like he plants that seed. He's like that. He's like just I'll put a bit of water on that. I'll let that grow a little bit, and then I'm 100% sure I've messaged him before saying, dude, I'm really sorry if I got a bit like. I think the best ways of saying it in England is twatty about it or a bit of a prick about it. And I don't think I have, but I think, oh my god, I wake up the next day. I drink a few as well, so that doesn't help.
Well, we
And I
know
met
all
him,
you
and he just
Brits
laughed.
anyway.
He's like, dude, I don't give a shit. I said to Keith the other day, and I was like, I think just Johnny enjoys a rant, and he just loves people who rant with him because he enjoys the back and forth. Because you're just that boy, aren't you?
Well, with Facebook, I grew up in Facebook with a group that was nothing but rants. Remember that group?
Yeah. There was a couple of them.
The one, what was the name? Bucs fans are the bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I cut my teeth on rants, man.
I love it though. That's good though. It's what it's about. So let's talk. Let's peep in. We're on the like. I gotta go to bed at some point. So yeah, my wife is probably going. When that motherfucker gonna
I
sleep?
gotta get out of here and start sharing this thing, man.
Yeah, man.
All
Right.
right, so I need to talk to you after the show, so I'll hang out. All right.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Okay, no worries. So let's just go around
All right,
the
guys.
clock. Let's talk about our predictions for next week. Johnny's just disappeared on us. So, John, your prediction. Oh, he's back. Oh, no, he's not. He's going to come back now. He's teasing me. He's just like, just going to press that button. Anyway, let's get on about it. If he turns up, we'll point at him too. Our predictions for this week.
13-10 Buccaneers. I think it's going to be.
You're going low.
Yeah, I'd love to see a blowout, but Bucs and blowout usually does not happen very often.
Okay.
13-10.
So you don't see high scoring back and forth?
No, I think it's going to be a big defensive, a good defensive battle. Again, like you guys said, we're going to run the ball quite a bit.
I hope so.
Yeah, 13-10. That's what I like.
Teresa, what you got for me?
I've got 17-14 Bucs.
Okay, I'm going to go a little bit better, and I'm going to go. Buccaneers are going to go 19-14. I just think the Buccaneers are going to get 2 touchdowns, and my math is terrible. So if I'm wrong, please point it out. And I think we'll get 2 field goals. I think they won't be. I think that's what separates us. I think that we'll get a field goal, and then we'll get an interception just to kill it off in the final drive. I think it's going to be an Antoine Winfield interception, personally. I mean, I'm really stating that's a bold prediction.
Hey, as long as it's a win, that's all that matters.
Hey, we win by 1 point. I'll take it because that's what it's about.
Absolutely.
Totally agree.
Should we go through these little comments? I don't know where we've got to on this, but let's have a little snug fest on this. Brady has never lost to Dallas. I don't like things like that because it's like, yeah, but he's only won one of them with us, so that's irrelevant to me. Like, I don't care what he's done at another club. It means nothing. True statement, John. However, history repeats. Not always. History does change. People do change. We look. Hey, my monarchy just lost its queen. My country just lost its queen. And one of the things I didn't realize that she did before she died was she changed the monarchy side that the firstborn child, rather than the firstborn male child. So depending on what you're doing with the whole Game of Thrones thing, the firstborn child gets to be part of the monarchy, not the firstborn male child. So, from an England point of view, we have Prince Charles, and
King
his
Charles.
wife had 2 children. She passed away or died, got assassinated, however you want to talk about it. And their eldest son, William, got married to Kate. They had 3 children, and she changed the rule just before Prince George was born that if it was a girl, she would be the reigning monarch, whereas otherwise she'd have to wait. So, for example, let's go with this. Right now, he is the next. Prince George is the next succession line in the country. So it will go King Charles III. It will go to, I don't know, if I'm brutally honest, I really don't know where William is in 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. I really don't know. I'm not that much of a royalist. I'll have to wake my wife up. She won't be appreciated for that.
I think William's the next in
And then
line.
his son George would take control. But if George was born a girl and their second child was born as George, the role would automatically go to him. So it always went to the eldest male heir. So the Queen changed it. So she made some changes, and she found it was unjust because she was the heir that was the only one available. That's why she got the job. That's why she got the availability because of it.
Sure.
So she wanted to change it so that, you know what, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. Hey, she was probably thinking to her mind, I'm a woman. I ran this throne. I've been this queen for so long. Why should it have to be the eldest male heir? Why can't it just be the eldest heir? So she changed the rules, and she's done a few things for us in this country. I'm not a royalist in myself. I'm very much on the point is like, I'm thankful. I believe that the monarchy has put more money into the economy than they've taken out, because a lot of people see the taxpayers' money going to them, which is true. It is very, very true. But they also make money on every time we click a button or buy something, because she sponsors stuff. Like if you want to buy a pair of tea bags, hey, if it's got Her Royal Majesty's sign on it, you're paying for it in a different way. So I believe she pays for it, and that's just my opinion. But let's go back to our here we go. Let's just finish off here, and then I personally believe we're going to win. I believe my co-host think we're going to win. I'm not sure about you, Johnny. Are we going to win?
I want us to win.
I know you were skeptical on Wednesday.
No, like I said, I at Thursday I did my homework. Wednesday on your show too. Yeah, I'd already done.
Yeah, on Wednesday we had a chat, and you were like, "Nah." You said you were honest and open.
It was so equal at that time. I had to just go with the home team. Now I would change my opinion, but I'm one of those guys. If I make a decision, I'm going to stick with it.
Okay.
And besides that, it's already written down. It's on our board. So if I tell you guys I'm picking the Bucs, and then you come and watch my show, and you hear me say, I picked the Dallas Cowboys, you're going to call me a hypocrite, right? Yeah, I can.
So stick with your prediction. But if the Buccaneers were to win, what do you think the score would be?
I got one better than that.
I don't think we've scored under 20 points since Brady's been here. Even our loss. Well,
I wouldn't even go there. I go under 7.
I'm going to say 21-17 Bucs or Dallas.
Okay, Johnny. If you lose, what can we expect from you?
How am I going to lose? I've picked both teams now.
No. You pick one team.
That was a what if.
You alluded to that.
What can you expect from me?
If you lose as a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, what are you going to do to appease the franchise, the fan base? What are you going to do?
Cheer.
Can we get you to do something butt ass naked?
I will cheer, and those days are over with. Hey, I'll get butt ass naked just for the hell of it. You want that? I'll give you that.
The fact that he leans into that so much makes me worry. We'll find something, but you got to have a forfeit, brother. You got to have a forfeit for picking against the Bucs.
Then I'd have to forfeit for every game that I lose.
then that's c'est la vie.
That's 32. That's what.
That's
16
hey,
games every
everyone
week
here
now.
who picked the Bucs who loses has the same forfeit. I think that's fair. Is that fair?
I don't get what you're saying, dude.
Right. So if I pick the Buccaneers and you pick the Cowboys, if the Cowboys win, I forfeit. Right? I failed.
So you're going to pick the Buccaneers every week. So if they lose, you're going to at least have a few weeks there where you have to get whatever the hell.
Freaking legally.
You're not talking me into this shit. I'm not gambling, dude. I already did that. I went through that stage on Facebook.
Hey,
Remember,
I spent
John?
a couple of minutes with Harry the Greek. He's got me on with his gambling stuff and understanding overs and unders and spreads and shit. So.
Yeah, shit. Gamblers are for people who aren't sure.
I like your style. All right, guys, let's get this done. I gotta go to bed. So if you guys want to carry on this discussion, by all means, let me know.
We stop a minute. When you stop the show, stay in the thing because I gotta talk to you a minute.
All right, no worries. Okay, guys, let's go around the clock. Where can we find you, Bucs super fan John?
Mainly Facebook, John Superfan Blakey, or you can put a like on my new Facebook page. It is Superfan John Buccaneers.
Okay, guys, everyone, if you're watching this, please, the 5 I can see, definitely check that shit out. He's a good dude. He knows his football. Hey, let's bring this discussion in. Johnny, I know that everyone on Bucs Report should know you're like Bucs Report royalty, right?
Nah, royalty.
You're at least the hand of the king, right?
There we go. I'm the hand.
The king takes a shit and the hand wipes. Tell everyone where we can catch you at. I know you do a great thing on Thursday night, so tell everyone about Thursday night.
Well, first, this Sunday night, we're doing a post-game show.
Yay!
For the Buccaneers. Me,
let's go.
And Marty and anybody else is invited. Teresa, you're invited. John, absolutely invited. Slick, depends on if you want to rub my nose in it or not.
I think this week's might be a little bit too late for me.
All right, bud.
But that game finishes. I gotta go to bed. Like that game finishes now. Technically, time.
Yeah, it's going to be a late game. So
my ass is sleeping.
But make sure the rest of you guys that aren't across the pond, you stay up for that post game show. We'll try to entertain you if we're not screaming and yelling. We'll vent anyway, one way or another. We're going to vent about stuff with Bucs fans, right?
Exactly.
Thursday nights, it's the NFL edition with Alex Loosemore and myself, Ben Cornett. Everybody knows Ben. And Marty McKnight. And that's usually about 10 o'clock, I think, now. I think we've changed the hours to 10 o'clock because we're on during the game. So,
okay.
Yeah. I saw that. That's pretty freaking awesome that you guys are talking about it live. That's pretty cool.
We're going to try to tone it down. Actually, since we're doing YouTube now, we're going to try to bring a little bit more to it, too.
Wow. So you're bringing it down, but bringing more.
Yeah, bringing toning our bar craziness down a little bit and going to add maybe some film clips and stuff like that. You know?
Oh, because you can because of that. Yeah. And Marty, quite a dab hand with all that kind of crap. He's really clever with that stuff.
Yeah, he is.
Real smart.
So is Alex and Ben, actually. So
I haven't seen what Ben can do. Ben just talks online and he's got such a smooth voice. That guy's like whiskey. Yeah,
try to get him to rant one time. His rants sound like somebody whispering. ASMR or something.
Yeah, got a very gentle voice, in all fairness. He's like, so guys, like, the Buccaneers are playing a team. And
well, Ben's a troll. You know that. If you've seen Ben, if you saw Ben.
Oh, no, I've seen the crap that he posts because you told me.
Yeah, if you saw that, just his posts,
he
never saw him talk, you would never think they were the same person.
He's a dirty boy. He's a dirty bird. All right, so let's break this down on Mother Teresa right here.
Hey.
Mother Teresa, break it down for us.
First and foremost, I want to thank everybody that's written a comment. That's perfect. That's what we feed off of. If you guys want to be a part of this, put it in the comments. We can get a link out to you. So, we love the interaction with everybody.
Free's not a crowd, guys. Free's not a crowd. So if you want to join in, just have a little chat. join us.
But you can find me here every Saturday.
And on
Sometimes I
Facebook.
go on to, surprise appearances.
Or if you go to Atlanta, look her up. She loves unannounced visitors.
I'm sure she does.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. Right now, my doctor doesn't want me around people.
All right, guys. So
And
let's
John, what's your address there?
Uh-huh.
What's your address?
Number one,
Peachtree
Happy
Street. You can find me on Peachtree Street.
I love it.
Every street in
I had a
Georgia.
cousin that lived on Peachtree Street in Georgia.
You
but
know,
it
we've
wasn't
got
Atlanta.
about 20 of them.
She lived up on a hill. It was really nice.
Let's have a little look at these before we finish up. So I just want to give a little kudos to it because I think a couple of people have commented and we haven't really responded. Yeah, I mean, the problem is we've left it so long that these guys are talking about the past.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Bourne. Don't mess with him.
He's a dude. He also converted to say, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was only 1 year, but it was good enough. I mean, he was a great safety that year too. Thank you, thank Monty Kiffin. Yep. What was that? You can't say Gronk is good without Tommy because Gronk hasn't played without him except in college. I get what you're getting at, but you can't put his immeasurables out of spec. I mean, it's just what he does. His communication with Brady, I mean, you can argue that, but a lot of people who play the tight end position look at Gronk and go, "How is a guy that big able to play like that?" That's all I've ever heard is that guy's a freak of nature. That's why he gets so injured, because he's a big guy playing a position that should be a bit smaller.
Well, anybody that watched him in college, I mean, they were standing in the audience applauding that pick when they drafted him. Remember? And he was the first one to hug the commissioner too, by the way.
Oh, right. Everyone makes it out to be Gerald McCoy.
Huh.
He did that whole lifting up thing, didn't he?
That started with Gronk, man.
I do love a bit of Gronk. Pamela White says 21, 28. It's a win. It's a win. I'll take it. A win is a win. Absolutely. That is, if the Williams daughter can be queen if need. Hey, if the one of the Williams daughters want to be the queen, I'm for it. I'd rather Serena personally, because she is a queen. I'll take that. She'll be my queen. I'm good with that.
You know how much I know about the royalty? I thought you were talking about Serena Williams.
She is. She is. The royal family is called Mountbatten. Let's move on.
Okay.
Sorry, in that order. Great night show. Okay, guys. So we had a great show tonight. We got more. Keep going then.
I don't see
I can't see it. I can't see anymore.
Nope, that's it.
Okay. So, anyone who commented, much appreciated. We really appreciate you guys, and I'm really sorry if we didn't get through your comments. But sometimes we do kind of diver and chat and talk trash a little bit. Sometimes just say me, and we'll kind of talk about you more. I do apologize if we didn't get to you, but we do get to you eventually. And if you guys want to come on the show, we're all about it. So just come on it. Hey,
yeah,
3 might be a crowd, but 4's always for more. Yeah, that's what I'm about. 4's for more. So from me, Teresa, John, and Johnny, juices up. But we're going for free now. We're going for free, baby. Good night from us.
Good night.